grab my Ruger 38. It's got a built-in laser, 38 special snub nose.
Yeah.
It's different shooting than every other gun you guys are all imagining. Yes, but it's a hunk of steel with a little barrel that after you've shot a little bit and your hands are a little tired and whatever, at 25 feet.
Yep.
With the laser on, if you want to feel fucking embarrassed when you have a laser on a goddamn target and everybody's watching you, you're gonna see like, ooh, it's fucking jittering all over the place. That's what happens to your aim.
Yeah.
You know, so there it should be not ridiculous.
Yeah.
And still easily controllable, but you should have to control it.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the podcast, the show dedicated to talking about all the Pogcast things in life with a heavy focus on the first-person shooter Escape from Tarkov. I am one of your co-hosts, Jesse Kazam, an Escape from Tarkov content creator.
And I'm Veritas.
Still not used to that short version.
I have a headache, and Jesse caught me off guard, so you. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. I actually don't know how I feel about this yet. Overall, good. I bought a new graphics card. I got a 3090 though. I didn't even. We just talked
about all your graphics cards. Did you go to Interchange or?
Yeah, I went to Interchange.
Was it found in Raid? No, you got the 3090.
Yes, I didn't even want it, bro. I have been so patiently waiting.
Boo hoo.
I know. I'm not trying to. Yeah, I've been so patiently waiting for a 3080 to come in stock. Obviously, as the entire world is, and they just haven't been, dude. Like, it's been since September. Okay, everybody knows this. Everybody knows what's going on. So I mean, you know, everybody's like, oh, just use this. I'm in 4 different Discords that are all stock alert notifications. You know what I mean? And I'm at my
Christ.
I am, and I'm at my and I've got tweets. I'm at my computer all day. So, like, I'm ready, bro. And I got the little notification. It was like Best Buy is restocking 3080s, you know, the Asus ones, the Founders Editions ones, all these. And I was sitting there, and the way Best Buy does it is like they release a few of them every few minutes. So, like, the add to cart button will say, please wait. And then it will just suddenly pop up yellow add to cart. And then if you miss it, it'll say, please wait. And I sat at my computer doing nothing else for 20 minutes, dude. And it never went yellow. And then I refreshed the page and it just said sold out. It was done. And so on my other monitor on the tab, I had the Best Buy page for the Founders Edition 3090. And so legitimately, I just swung over and clicked add to cart, and then it took me to the cart. And it was like, well, I'm checking out. You know, it's like
everybody was still hitting refresh
on the 3080s. It was like one of those things where it's like, well, I can cancel the order, I can return the thing, but it's in my cart. I have to check out. You know what I mean? Like, you can't, nobody gets this far. So I'm like, well, okay.
At that point, it was like, I can't even though I may not be able to afford it or whatever, I could at least break even. Like, 100%. I could sell this thing.
100%. Yeah. It's like, you can Best Buy, you can cancel the order, you can return it with 60 days, or you could sell it and break even. Like, you just have to check out when it gets in your cart. You know what I mean? So I did, and I don't really know. It's like the alternative is pay that much for a 3080. Like, 3080s are actually going for more. Like, I got it for MSRP, the Founders Edition, $14.99. Like, I know. But you can't get them for that, dude. You can't. 3090s on eBay. 3090s on eBay are between $2,700 and $2,800. 3080s on eBay and Amazon, like the resellers on Amazon, are like $1,700 to $2,000. 3080s. It's just, I didn't want to spend that much money on a graphics card. I just don't know what to do. And the reason that I have been pushing for one is, like, this time last year, January, February, I was like, I think it's time for a GPU upgrade. I get 49 frames per second in Tarkov. This is my freaking job.
Now you get 59.
Yeah. Like, I need a GPU upgrade. But I was like, you know what? I bet NVIDIA is going to drop something dope this year. Let me wait. So I waited till September. They launched the 3000 series. I was like, yo, these are fire. I'm going to pick up a 3080. It's going to be great. And then I've waited since then. And so it's like, well, I guess this is where we're at. And it was, the thing is, another reason why I actually went through with it is because like the day before, like an article or something, NVIDIA basically said that it's only going to get worse until like the end of summer. Like we're not, like we can't make more, we can't ship them over. It's only going to get worse. Like crypto's going crazy, so miners are willing to spend more on them. Miners are willing to spend more on them because of the profitability of crypto mining. NVIDIA basically said we are not making any more, like we are having trouble keeping up. It's going to get worse. So it was in my cart. You know what I mean? It was like here we are. So I'm like excited about it, but at the same time, it's like I just like can't justify spending that much money on a graphics card, even though I'm obviously trying to justify it to you.
Everybody,
it's weird, bro.
Everybody listening to this, and also in my Twitch chat, and also in Jesse's Twitch chat, everybody, at the very minimum, use your Twitch Primes on Jesse. He did it for you. Use your. I'm not even saying donate it. I'm not even saying pay a tier 1 sub. I'm saying just Twitch Prime for the man. It's free. Help this man recoup his fucking terrible mistake of a purchase.
Yeah, seriously. Down payment on a car.
Like, I legitimately feel fucking like I feel guilty.
Oh, because they sent you one on like launch day.
Because my boy reached out to me and was like, "Hey, we have some like demo software that we want you to take a look at, maybe get some feedback on, blah blah blah." And I was like, "Oh yeah, that'd be really cool, all this stuff." And then I said something along the lines of like, "Oh yeah, and I heard some mumblings about you guys coming out with a new card sometime soon." And he's like, "Oh yeah, what's your address?" And then I had a 3080 like a week before they were even for sale.
Bro, I wouldn't feel guilty about that at all. That's dope. That's sick.
I mean, of course it's fucking dope,
Yeah.
but it just makes me feel bad. And it's like, fucking Jesus. Ugh.
Crazy.
But hey, listen, I was the NVIDIA fucking streamer.
I was about to say, dude, a lot of
2000s
I bet a lot of people don't remember that. I remember that. You freaking, that whole competition, you crushed that, dude. You crushed that. Who was it?
I went down to...
Was it Giant Waffle that was... Who was like the streamer that was like picked you or something? Was it Giant Waffle? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Never mind. Anyways, you won.
There wasn't.
You got friends in NVIDIA now. That's dope.
I ended up doing going down to Dallas, and speaking actually for NVIDIA too.
Really?
Me and Epos Vox, who's another YouTuber and streamer. Cool guy. He makes a lot of really good stream tech videos. He and we were on like a panel and we were talking about basically the NVENC encoder and OBS and all that stuff. Answered a bunch of questions for some up and coming streamers. It was a lot of fun. But that's when I learned that that Dallas is... Was it Dallas? Was that Dallas? Lennon, you'll have to tell me if it was Dallas. There was the okay, how do I caveat this? This is in no way against the people of Dallas. I'm sure they're all great. I actually didn't like really even interact with pretty much fucking anybody there. But holy shit, did that place stink. And I don't know if it was just because it was like the summer at the time and there had been some flooding and whatever, but bro, I've never, I don't know how to describe it. We were 10,000 feet up. Like it was like, we're gonna, oh wait, I can do this. I
believe.
That's not it. Nope. That's not it. Hello? Oh shit. Oh my god. Okay, fucking, I was gonna be like, this is your captain speaking. We're gonna be beginning our descent. But I don't know why that was so painful.
I don't know what happened there.
I don't know what that's setting. Anyway, we were like literally like 15 minutes from landing. and I was like, that fucking smell. And
That's weird.
I don't know how to describe it. It was like,
That's weird.
I don't know if everybody had a grandmother with a potpourri dish like I did, but let me tell you, there was like, it was an oddly like spice floral, like,
Yeah.
you know, but overpowering. Like if you just put your nose, dug your nose into it and like breathed it in, how you just get nauseous. It was like that. It didn't smell bad. It was a smell that like it smelled almost like chemicals, as if you took like Febreze and sprayed it so that there was an inch of liquid Febreze on top of a thing and then like froze it. And it was everywhere. I was there for 2 or 3 days. I swear to God, dude, from the time I landed in the airport, I got into and I thought it was the person I was sitting next to, because there was like kind of a bigger, younger, he was kind of sweaty, you know. I'm like, okay, it's probably this guy. He probably just like sprayed Febreze in his armpits or something, like went buck wild. I'm like, okay. I was like, I just got to get off this plane because it's so fucking bad. Like I'm nauseous. And as soon as I stepped out from the fucking gangway, I hit the airport and I was like, oh, it's even worse. And I'm like, literal physical, like I was this close to throwing up. I finally got into the elevator to go to get my rental car. And I'm like looking around and nobody is reacting to anything except for a family. I ended up talking with them. They were super nice. They were on vacation from, I think, Uganda. They all came in and I looked at them and the door shut and I looked at them and you see them all look around and go, what is that smell? I'm like, thank you.
Dude.
Like I passed by 1,000 people and nobody said anything. And then all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, you smell that? Every time the wind blew, it was like I was going to vomit.
That's so weird.
I got into my Airbnb, this gorgeous, fucking wicked nice place inside of an old mill building, a hardwood floor. It was fucking beautiful. The entire thing, it was like that smell turned up 1,000.
Yuck.
I got home and my wife was like, what's that smell? I'm like, it's me.
I don't know how to get it off.
I don't know what it is. Oh, God.
That's weird. That's super weird. Well, that's
never again. Never again. It was miserable. I honestly spent 3 days almost vomiting. There was a period of time where I thought like maybe I had some weird like fungal infection only in my nose. Like,
yeah, just like
because I'm like, everybody should be vomiting around me. Like, why does nobody else feel sick? It's got to be me.
That's actually super weird. That's actually I was in Dallas once as a kid, but I haven't been, so I don't know. That's super weird. Ugh. That's dope.
Anyway,
though. I didn't know that you got to go down there for the NVIDIA thing. Epos Vox is dope. Yeah, his videos are so good.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. Super chill. Hung out and yeah, it was a lot of fun. I was actually, oh my God, I had that was, I think, before TwitchCon. I don't know if it was the first time or the second time, but I remember that was one of the first times where somebody was walking by, and I don't remember who it is. Maybe they're here. I don't know. But there was a bigger dude, probably like, he looked like he was younger than me, but probably like 100 pounds of just muscle he's just a big boy.
Yeah.
And he like did a double take and was like, Veritas? And I was like, somebody recognize me? Like, oh shit, it was one of the first times that somebody
that's cool,
recognized me. Oh my God, what was it? You, Radiant? I have no idea.
Yeah,
I don't remember. It was all such a blur. I got so nervous. I'm like, somebody knows who I am. What do I do? How do I act?
blacked out for a little bit.
All right. Anyway,
that's cool.
Tarkov.
Yeah, how's Tarkov been treating you? You said you had some good raids today, eh?
Today I had some good raids, but that was mostly because I just been playing reserve, just been playing slow. I've lost all confidence in. I gotta turn my heater off. I'm sure you can probably hear that. The heater's fucking blasting because I didn't have heat. I lost 100% of the confidence I have in gunfights. Like,
I feel that.
Just rewind back to my netcode video. It's just like, it's like that again.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah, and I got a clip I just sent to Nikita having to do with the aim plunge mixed with the blur. which we can get into.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna ask. So it's good. It's dope that you had some good raids. I was gonna ask how you felt about the desync recently. We've talked a million times about it, and we've talked about how at least it appears to just like get worse and get better. And it's so weird how like sometimes you're just like you have a week where it doesn't seem that bad, and then it has. But like I had, other than last night and the night before that I streamed, I had like one of the worst weeks in Tarkov I've had. Like I was like apologizing to my chat for being super just frustrated because like it was getting to me, bro. It was getting to me. Like I don't exaggerate when this. I have the clips like on stream. I die. I pull the clip right up and we watch it like 4 times in a row. I like clearly headshot somebody with no face shield, like easy hit, and I died like 2 seconds later. And then there were clips where like I died, 10 feet behind a wall. There was, dude, one raid. It was me and a duo. We were on Shoreline and we were like making a play. We heard them go up the metal stairs of the roof outside. So we're like, oh, let's go. So we're going up the inside of the roof. And I literally run around a corner and I stop for 1 second to listen for audio. And then I see my buddy walking in place. And I was like, oh, did you disconnect? And then my screen fades to black. I look up at my friend's stream that I had on, and literally I ran around the corner, stopped, disconnected as the enemy ran around the corner. And he just was like, oh, a guy standing still, and he killed me. And I was like, I'm going to freak out. Like it's been so bad. So it's like, but then the past day it wasn't as so bad, but I don't know. It's felt rough for me at least. Oof.
Yeah, I basically like almost all of the fights that I have these days, there's 3 results. It's usually if I hear somebody coming, I will stop moving, aim down sights. If I'm in the middle of a room, actually somebody earlier, because this happened, I literally was on the first floor of one of the buildings with like the marked room, with the basement under reserve. I don't know what any of the fucking buildings are called, but they were coming in like that back area, hole in the wall ramp.
Yep.
And I was just in the middle of like the first floor, and I just stopped and just held the angle, and some dude in chat was like, bad angle, bro, real bad angle. I'm like, no, any angle other than this right here is bad, because in order for me to get to any other angle, I'm gonna make noise.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna win if they run and don't expect me.
Yep.
But if I'm in an advantageous angle, then it's a coin flip.
Yeah, because if they heard you and they're like, oh, there's a guy in there, they're going to be thinking, where's he going to be peeking? And yeah, then it's a coin flip for sure. Yeah, sometimes being in a bad place is the best place.
Yep. So, that's the only time I actually will win fights these days, is when I can catch somebody with their pants down.
Yeah.
Because even and actually that's partially true in that, well, actually what I said holds true, but the caveat is that there are times where even when I completely catch somebody with their pants down, I still can lose. I spawned in over by like right in the other room, by the other marked room, in like the long bunkhouse kind of building.
Yeah. The other corner of the map, basically.
I just jumped out, ran into the other building, jumped in the window, looted, and then 2 dudes were coming in. So I was like right to the left of the door waiting for them to come in. I think they heard me reload, but the dude came sprinting around the corner, and I had the Hex armor, just meta out of my mind, 995 HK that I got from some dude in labs, just like all the good stuff.
Yep.
And I sprayed this dude down. I think I hit him 8 times. And this is the clip I sent to Nikita. He comes around the corner and I'm spraying. So of course I'm like hitting arm. Yeah. Because like it's the contrast, it's like gray helmets on gray people, everything. Like you just can't fucking see anything. So I'm just kind of like spraying center mass, hoping to maybe hit him in the head.
Yep.
But his arms are eating all the bullets. He comes around the corner and then instantly is like doing this whole AD strafe, which he's at that point, you're just a fucking blur.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to follow him while I'm holding full auto. And then he had a Keter, and he was shooting full auto, and it like he hit me like 40 times, but the whole time I was just getting aim punched away from where he was strafing. So you have the net code around, like, he teleports around the corner, and then his AD strafing, so which is already like almost impossible to hit a shot. And then while I'm trying to follow him with the gun, he's then hitting me with fucking water balloon bullets, which makes my gun jump all over the place. And then also it turns your vision completely blurry. Like you've got just, your eyes are full of cataracts. So you're just literally, like, at that point, I feel like I'm watching a movie. I'm no longer participating in an interactive game. I have no control. I can't see. I can't like predict or respond where he's going to go. And I can't, even if I shoot at the blur and I predict where the blur is going to go, my arms are getting pulled out of the fucking way of where I'm trying to aim.
The aim punch really confuses me because I have plenty of battles where I'm getting shot and I can still hold on the target. And then sometimes it actually feels like I'm no longer in control of my mouse. Like, it actually feels like it's like pulling the gun away from the enemy. It's such a weird, I know exactly what phenomenon you're talking about, but what frustrates me is it doesn't happen every time I'm in a fight and get shot. It's just like, it's this crazy, completely blurry, and your gun is just like gung, 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 and you just have, it's actually impossible to control that. And I don't know what triggers that at all.
I know, and that's what doesn't make sense to me, because you think about, from his perspective, he was just unloading on me, and he was like, oh, this guy's a potato, probably, right? Because I unloaded 40 rounds and I missed every shot, so he's probably like, this guy sucks. But from my perspective, I had no control and no vision. But then there are times where it's like, where I'm waiting, I'm holding, I'm spraying him down. How is he able to move and aim and hit every single bullet? You know what I mean? So it's like, either he just got lucky or he didn't get affected by the aim punch. I guess the problem is, it's kind of like, you have to accept both sides of it. So I'm sure there are plenty of times where I beat somebody where they missed, where they got aim punched out of their mind. But it just seems so inconsistent. Where aim punch to me is a mechanic where I think you should be punished if you get caught off guard, but you shouldn't instantly lose. Which is why I'm okay with aim punch, because whoever gets shots first, as long as the time to kill isn't one bullet, then it's like, that's like my rebuttal. You know how, like, you get a second chance? It's like, or double elimination. If you're in a tournament, you get double elimination. Like, you can lose, but you're still in it, but you have to beat the other guy twice. So it's like, you've lost that initial engagement, but at least give me enough time to be able to, like, prove I'm better to them.
I completely agree. That Hail Mary is what makes it. It's what makes those moments where you snap to a guy and you're like, I just like double beat that guy. But it feels right to be punished for someone getting the jump on you.
But then when there's blur and mixed with the aim punch and mixed with the AD strafing and mixed with the net code, that's the clip I sent Nikita, where I'm like, those four things make that gunfight completely fucked. Like, so bad. Like, I think, like, if I'd be interested to, like, show people that clip and see if they'd have a vote on it, to be like, who do you think should have won this fight? You know, like, because you could look at a fight and be like, based on how this went, if I was a judge, you know, scoring it like if it was a dance competition, who would I award more points to, right? The guy who was holding an angle, prepared, knew they were coming, was ready, had better gun, better ammo, better whatever, and had everything, like, taken out of his control. Like, even my aim, like, I adjusted pretty fucking good. But there's nothing you can do when you can't see and people move unrealistically.
When you can't see and you can't react, you just lose power over your mouse. Like, that's, dude. I've been saying the same thing, dude. I don't understand what procs it, and it's so frustrating because sometimes you die and you're like, it's like, okay, I have 8 hits on that dude, center of mass. Yes, like chat, I get it. I have bad ammo. He has good armor. But how come he's just like holding that thing super steady, aiming on me when I'm shooting him 8 times? But then when I get hit twice, I'm looking at Jupiter. Like, you know what I mean? It makes it all super frustrating, and I don't understand it. And it doesn't happen often, but when it does, it is absolutely devastating. And you just never know. Yeah, you never know when you're the one doing it to somebody else. You never know when it's going to happen to you. How much
editing do you do on these on the videos? Because I was gonna say I could we could potentially, if not, sorry, fuck off, but we could potentially throw the clip in there to give some context.
Oh no, yeah.
In the video version.
Yeah.
In the audio version, all you'd hear is me complaining and dying.
Yeah, if you want to see the clip, we'll put it right here.
You just like sweet fun gameplay.
All right.
Nice. This is where I do like a where you have like an audio waveform. Just look for the big thing.
Action.
Oh my god, is that why they do that?
Yeah.
That little click? Is that
it syncs audio and video?
Oh god, I never knew that. Okay.
But
well,
also
that
with some
sense.
information on like the take and stuff like that.
Yeah. Wow, that's fucking genius. The more you know.
The more you know.
But yeah, so I just threw that in chat. The clip's called Aim Plunge plus Blur plus Strafing. It's fucking ugh, I feel bad about that. But yeah, so I don't know, like I guess to me the solution is blur my vision if I get shot in the helmet.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if I get shot in the arm, don't blur my vision. If I get shot in the leg, don't blur. I don't care. Like you can make the argument that it's realistic, and I bet you that some people when they get shot completely close their eyes. I bet you some people when they get shot will have blood spray in their eyes, and like there's a million ways in which you could say sure, being injured can affect your vision. There are plenty of times in which that you could easily say it's not the case, where people have been shot and they don't even know they're shot. So again, the whole realism thing, fucking just throw it out the window.
Yep.
The from the gameplay perspective, you're already punished with aim punch and you not being ready, like you or having to respond to the aim punch and everything, to where you don't need to make it any worse. I mean, you could also make it so that like if you get shot in the arms, there's a chance it hits your gun and your magazine falls out or your optics break or your barrel. Like you make it less fucking likely that sure that I can do fucking anything, but whether it's realistic or not, it's just bad for the fucking game.
And for me, the absolute like necessity is it has to be consistent. Like it has to be consistent, or please explain to us, like there might be some algorithmic mechanic out there where it's like only rounds with an armor damage value over this trigger this type of, like, who knows? But because we don't know when it happens, it feels like a glitch. It feels like a bug. People get super frustrated. It feels like the other guy was cheating, and it adds to this whole thing, man. It just like adds to this like pile of misunderstanding. But it's just judgment on the game, frustration at the game. So like whatever the mechanic is, it's got to be consistent. It has to be, we have to be able to know how to understand it, or else we're just going to lose our minds. Like, it's crazy. It really, dude, it's all been pushing towards like, so the whole rat and Chad thing, like, I think, it's a funny meme, but I think it sometimes feels like it does more damage than good to the community. But I feel like everything that's been happening with like stuff like that, stuff like aim punch, earlier when we were talking about where you were like going on reserve and you were in that really bad angle because you were like, if they hear me, you know what I mean? It's just game over. Like,
and I was the coward rat, right?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, is that like the whole rat thing I felt like came about with like hatchet runners trying to get money, get loot. They're just going to wait and they're going to loot. But like the game keeps pushing you to like, you either have to shift W with an Alton and a slick and pre-fire every corner, or the minute you hear a gunfire on the map, you have to crouch and stay still and go, okay,
hold your breath.
Where is he? Is he running my way? Is he running away? And then everybody's like, oh, you're ratting it up. And I'm like, no, I'm just trying to not die. You know what I mean? Like it's
and then you better hit your first or second shot and it better kill them. Otherwise they will flip around.
Yeah.
And then at that point, it's so weird because I feel as if I'm shooting somebody in their back or whatever, that it's almost like they don't have aim punch, but then as soon as they hit me, I have aim punch.
Yeah.
But like I have aim punch and no one else does is the way that it feels.
I do.
Which is obviously bullshit.
But I identify with that feeling, bro. Like the amount of times where it happens, and we could go dive into the million reasons that could potentially explain this one-off chance and this and that. But it's like, but I'm saying is that like the whole rat thing has extended so far beyond because the game keeps punishing any other playstyle than Shift W with meta. It's just so much harder to survive if you don't like. I don't know, man. It's just
the only way you have to tank bullets. You have to be able to survive like 4 or 5 bullets and just run in. Like, don't clear your angles, don't throw nades, don't flashbang. You just have to run in, get shot a bunch, figure out where your target is, and then hold mouse 1 on your 0 recoil gun.
And the netcode supports that, exactly. It's like, they'll shoot 20 shots at you, only 4 of them will hit. So as long as your armor can take 4, you've got time. And it's like, no, that feels so bad. I don't like that at all.
Now, someone in chat just said something that actually, I before this conversation, I probably would have maybe rejected it, because it doesn't make sense, but it actually makes sense in the context of all the stuff we're talking about. I think aim punch only happens when you're standing still. That's actually really interesting, because that would explain why when I think I'm doing the right thing, which is I'm still, my breath is held, I'm aiming, and I'm ready. If I'm getting bullets on them and they're 80, 80, 80, 80 and spamming bullets at me, they're getting they're hitting all their or half of their bullets, and I can't hit any of them because all of a sudden my vision is blurred and I get aim punched. I wonder if AD strafing, if that somehow negates both of those things, then that explains.
That would we've done 0 testing on this, but that would explain a whole lot.
That's how you come up with a scientific theory. You have a hypothesis, and you come up with a hypothesis that fits the data, and then you have a falsifiable test to come up with it. So the solution for that is try to get into a bunch of fights where you're just fucking 80, 80, 80, or like spam running or whatever. Or actually, fuck, dude, I'm more and more convinced that that's the case, because I've been getting a lot of kills point firing lately. Even with semi-auto guns, and it's because I'm generally walking while I'm point firing.
Yeah. Yep.
And the aim punch probably matters. Like either I'm not getting aim punched, or maybe I don't notice it quite as much because I'm not actually aiming down sights. Although I usually have lasers or something. But
that's interesting. That's
oh my
super
God.
Interesting.
That's oh my God.
Yeah, that's super interesting. I really wonder if that's connected. I think that would kind of make sense. It would explain some of the inconsistencies around it. It feels like it happens very few and far between, and that is because it feels like there's not a whole lot of times where I'm standing completely still fighting someone that's shooting back at me. Normally you try to line up those shots where it's like, the dude's coming and you're just gonna drop them before they get those shots. But when you have a bunch of bad raids because of netcode or bugs or whatever, that's when I'm like, let me reel it back and let me slow down and try to play more methodical and more controlled, and then I just have a worse time. Yeah. Because now I'm holding an angle and I'm ready and I'm what. And if I'm not able to down them with the first shot, I lose like every engagement. Yeah. To people who are just AD strafing and with shittier shit than me. Yeah. Dude, oh my God. Okay, yeah, I'm And then the days where I'm like feeling like a confident big dick, whatever. Yeah. I'm owning. Yeah. Because I'm probably like the good old days where I'm just holding W and running around like a Chad. I get in that exact same cycle, by the way, we've talked about it. We're talking about it tonight. We've talked about it in other videos. Tarkov rewards the Shift W just meta Chad gameplay, and I've been in that exact same cycle where you get either net coded, or I make a bad play, or I make a mistake, or the other guy gets a really good shot, or any combination of those things all night, and it's been 14 raids. Well, your natural thing to do after 14 deaths isn't go slick alt and 995 60 round mags. It's go, okay,
you're sick of losing
let me freaking bring out the budget kits. Let me slow it down. And that lack of confidence to do that makes it worse. I've been in that same cycle, dude.
Actually, I see it slightly the other way, which makes a little bit more sense in that I actually go with the lower quality shit, but I care less.
Oh, so you just so you're more likely to shift W.
So I'm more likely to shift W if I have level 3 armor and an ADAR with a red dot on it, because I'm like, what? Yeah. I'm probably going to lose this fight anyway. I might as well just YOLO, and then I end up wrecking squads, for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Which that makes more sense, right? If going in with worse gear and playing slower.
Yeah.
Yeah, that. No,
how do you think, this is interesting, it could be unrelated, it could be me trying to make a stretch, but how do you think the recoil system of Tarkov plays into that? The ability for people to just tank shots and then snap to somebody, because you even said earlier, you were they run in, they tank 4 shots, and then they just point their 0 recoil gun at you. I feel like that's another piece of that puzzle that supports that gameplay, where it's I'm not really worried about aim punch, and I'm not really worried that you're shooting me, because I know that it's I'm just holding down an actual laser beam, dragging it across my screen at head height, just trying to get it to your head. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the reason I ask is 2 reasons. One, I've been talking to Desmond a lot about the recoil stuff recently, because he went off, he took a break from Tarkov and played Rust, and was just saying that I've seen videos of the best Rust players, if you just hold down mouse 1, and the pattern that the gun makes, and then they can reverse engineer and memorize it, and then hold down mouse 1 and make that pattern with their hand, and the AK literally.
CS:GO. If you have the AK, if you just make an upside down kind of question mark, your bullets are all basically go.
Yeah. So he's been telling me a lot about that. And then secondly, the other reason why I want to bring it up is because I was watching you play that stock M4 raid right before we started the podcast, and Veritas, I was watching that raid, and I was just sitting here looking at the screen going, what if this was Tarkov fights? What if from
how much better the game would be?
What if from 25 meters away, you couldn't just hold left click? You were bursting. You were either semi or burst firing because you wanted to get shots anywhere near. We've talked a lot about extending firefights, and we focused a lot about time to kill. But even if time to kill remained the same, if it was 7 times harder to hit a damn shot, then fights would last longer. It would be like you said. It was you might have hit me in the leg, which means I've lost that initial engagement, but I have time to react. If we're farther than 10 meters apart, I have time to react, to get to cover, to pop a stim, to flank you, to make a move, to be a better player than you. So I wonder how much that, because it's not one thing, the whole meta Chad gameplay style. It's not one thing. It's netcode, it's recoil. You know what I mean? It's a lot of things. But watching you play that raid, and especially after talking with Desmond recently about some of the recoil, I was just thinking while I was watching you, I was like, God dang, that would be so much more fun if all the guns had this type of recoil. It would be a lot more fun.
So when I did the realism video, I actually had I didn't end up getting a chance to put it all in there, but I actually had a bunch of GoPro footage from real combat that I went through. And again, I'm not a soldier. I don't claim caveat, M2, all that stuff. The nature of the way it felt and the way it seemed for that M4 raid that we just saw, the stock M4 raid, that's how it felt, or at least I would imagine it feels when you see a dude with a sick ass operator modded, M16 or whatever overseas, and they're going pop, pop,
pop, for sure,
pop, pop, pop,
pop.
It's fucking hard.
Oh, got him. Oh my.
Yeah. The only time you see that is when someone has a fucking M249 and they're suppressing fire, which is you're running from here to here. I'm just going to go, oh, you know what? That was one of the fucking, I wish I had put that in the video. It's one of the sickest clips where it was imagine an open field of grass. I think this was Afghanistan, but there were like these weird hills, almost like, you know, how they put like turf and hills over the top of like trash when they fill in like the landfills. They're just like the weird green mounds. It was like that. There was just mounds in this like field, and there was like 4 guys up ahead that were all literally just like fucking pinned down. And the video was a helmet cam guy, and the dude, you see him like looking at like 15 magazines, the 30 round, like the tan magazines, and he's just like grabbing them, and he's like, I'm coming to bring ammo, because the guys are all sitting there on the front lines. They're pinned down. They've just been popping off rounds, and he's like, I'm coming. And all of a sudden you hear bah, 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 because the guys are just shooting in the direction. Because when you're in a real fight like that, if you hear gunfire in your direction, you're probably gonna be like,
dude,
fuck, you know.
100%. I've talked to Jeepo before about this too, about like suppression is like a completely non-utilized mechanic in Tarkov when it comes to squads and gameplay. And I've tried to do it a few times. One of my favorite clips of all time, I was playing with Seal in Labs, and I don't know what came over me, dude, but we were chasing these dudes, and I hit a corner, and I never do this, dude. I hit a corner, and I just blind fired. I went around the corner, and the absolute second I pulled back, Sealable ADS strafed around the corner and pop, and killed 2 dudes. Because they had turned around, they were running away. And I made a video about it. I was like, Sealable, that was the best thing I've ever done in Tarkov. Like, it was just, I just suppressed it. I just scared them. I didn't want to peek the corner because I figured they would hold. They're like, screw this, start running away. And Sealable just peeks around the corner ADS. Nobody uses that. Like,
that's why I'm so sad that you can't, when they add prone lean, when they added that, they got rid of, you used to be able to blind fire while prone above your head. So that was like, if you're getting shot at out in the open and there's like a bench in front of you, that's all you've got. You're gonna be like, you know, over your fucking, because you've got nothing else to do other than maybe try to buy yourself and blind fire nades.
And blind fire nades.
So I really wish that they would add that back. I don't know if that's a bug or if that was intentional, or it probably just didn't, like, it was probably too complicated with like the different keybinds to make that all work.
Because you're already prone leaning, like all you, and then, but I agree though. I think that's sick. So, but anyways, going back to the recoil thing, like I just feel like that it was one of those things. I don't have a whole freaking paper. I don't have a presentation. I don't have a lot of, it was just me watching you play that and going like, I would rather play that way.
But
you know what I mean? Like, I would rather play
though.
Tarkov that way.
Here's the interesting part that I there's probably some people who are, and potentially rightfully so, like banging their heads against the screen. So there's a difference, and the fight has always been on this conversation between 2 different sides. It's always been the auto recoil, no recoil is bullshit and it's not realistic.
Yeah.
Versus the people who say, I've shot guns, look at this video, and it's way easier to control a gun. Yeah. Now, in my completely unprofessional but amateur real life experience trying to look at this realistically and fairly, there's a big difference, because I can be spraying full auto and be controlling it because I have the right stance, the right form, I'm familiar with the gun and everything. But it's not going to make it so that your front sight doesn't move.
Yeah.
All you need to do, if you guys are at the shooting range, if you've got a BB gun, whatever, put a pistol out in front of you and try to hold it up against a dot on your wall from 10 feet away.
Yeah,
and you're gonna see how much your hand, like, even if you can hold it really fucking still, it's still going to move just naturally. I mean, like, even when I used to love going to the range, especially this outdoor range that we had. I was a member of like a fishing game club, and every now and then I'd get a chance to go and shoot at one of the longer ranges with some of my rifles, and I had a shitty optics set up on one of my guns and stuff. And one of the things that always I thought was so crazy was, usually because I was caffeinated out of my fucking mind, because I'd usually get up and, like, you know, chug a coffee or whatever, and then like instantly go to the shooting range, and I always got a little bit of adrenaline whenever I'd go. You're around people with shooting and stuff. Like, I wasn't nervous, but it's just like I'm fucking ready to go, like, you know, a sporting event or whatever. And if you're sitting there, your heartbeat is like a physical, like the blood, like it
You can
moves
feel
your
it.
body.
Yeah.
Especially if you're holding your breath in a bad way that you probably shouldn't sometimes. It's
Yeah.
like, it really does have an effect. And again, I'm sure if you're trained and stuff, it doesn't affect you. But
yeah, but then you're in combat and your actually life is at risk. I you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure it affects you at some, even if you're trained to do okay at the range. You know, when exactly like you said, when you're hearing bullets, even if you don't know they're coming at you, you're like, I could die. Like, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I agree. I agree 100%.
There's a middle ground.
Yes, exactly. Yes, there are certain guns. Like I think about that too. I'm like the Vector kind of is a laser beam. You know what I mean? Like it was kind of designed to be that way, to be tight. You hold it, and but at the same time, if you put a laser on your gun and you try to hold it in the same spot, it's not the gun. It's us. It's human error. It's like, yeah, the gun, if you mount it to a thing, it shoots pretty straight. There's not a whole lot of recoil. You know, an M4 definitely has some recoil, but, you know, an SMG probably that's designed that way. But you hold it. You hold it with a laser beam on a quarter-size thing from 5 feet away. See if you can hold it there for 3 consecutive seconds. And then, because if you can't, an inch at 3 feet is 2 feet at 20 meters, and we're laser beaming Magnum people from 20 meters with 9mm and just like, oh, easy does it. Like yesterday on Interchange, dude, we were like, we got the spawn at Emercom and we're like, I've been trying to go hit power, so we went down that way and we saw 2 dudes. I literally could only see shadows in the fog, and I just laid prone with a Vector and I killed one of them. It was just like, he's dead.
And that's an engagement that you would never realistically make.
Yeah.
Because I mean, again, if you want to be humbled, go take, like, the most humbling is grab my Ruger 38. It's got a built-in laser, 38 special snub nose.
Yeah.
It's different shooting than every other gun you guys are all imagining. Yes, but it's a hunk of steel with a little barrel that after you've shot a little bit and your hands are a little tired and whatever, at 25 feet.
Yep.
With the laser on,
Yeah.
if you want to feel fucking embarrassed when you have a laser on a goddamn target and everybody's watching you, you're gonna see like, ooh, it's fucking jittering all over the place. That's what happens to your aim.
Yeah.
You know, so there it should be not ridiculous.
Yeah.
And still easily controllable, but you should have to control it.
I like the idea. Like, I've been talking about this in chat, and some people have said, they're like, well, then that would make it harder. And I
for
like,
everyone.
Yeah, I like the idea that, like, because it goes back to, I hate that argument, the casual versus whatever. Like, everything, like, you know what I mean? Like, they don't make the rules of the NFL so anybody can play. Like, if you want to play in the NFL, you got to train, you got to do it, or you can play it casually and know that you're never going to be, you know, I'm not a sports fan, so I can't even pull a name out of my butt right now. But anyways, I like mechanics where it's like, yeah, the more you do it, the better you get at it. And that just seems so simple to me. That seems so simple to me that I like being able to learn something and master something and get good at something and being like, I love AKs because I've got this spray pattern down. You know what I mean? Like, I like that, but I should have to control it. I should have to work towards that. That should be something that takes time for me to do. I don't know.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's what makes it skill based. If like 1 or 2, like 2 tiers down from meta, if those guns were closer to the meta in how they performed, but so then devil's advocate, I guess then, like, what's the point of all of the attachments? But then again, devil's advocate to that, you, like, trust me, if I give you a fucking M16 unmodded and I put a dot on it, okay, and then I give you another M16 with a dot on it and like a fucking foregrip and a laser and a different stock, trust me, it might be a little bit more comfortable, but it's not going to completely and utterly make you a better shot or not.
Yeah. I'm okay.
Like 98% is the person, 2% is it's the same thing with an instrument.
Yeah.
You put an $82 guitar in the hands of Steve Vai, and he's going to sound exactly like Steve Vai.
Dude, yes.
And I learned this when I was 16, when I spent thousands of dollars on an Ibanez Gem, a fucking Carvin Legacy stack with a Boss DS1. I had all the fucking knobs exactly how Vi has them, and I still sounded shitty like me.
Bro,
When I had my crappy $80 guitar through a Line 6 amp on insane mode, I somehow sounded shitty no matter what. It's
Dude.
because I'm shitty.
Yes, bro. Exactly. And these guys that have spent thousands and thousands and thousands of hours at the range with different setups could pick up any gun and they could hit their target with it. And of course, like, and then that's the X factor. In real life, I feel like a lot of it is ergonomic. Is how do I like my style? Where do I want my laser? I prefer this laser. I prefer this brightness. I prefer this grip. I like the seal I can get on it. I prefer
For usability.
100%. So it's like you can't simulate that in a game, but I'm okay
Ergonomics.
with. I'm okay with. Well, yeah, I'm okay with the vast attachments we have being mostly aesthetic. I like that. We've talked about this before, where it's like all the attachments in the game. Okay, let's say foregrips. All the foregrips in the game fall in 3 tiers: bad, decent, good. You know what I mean? And it's like 20 of the foregrips have 1% recoil reduction and 2% or 2 added to ergo. The good ones have 2% recoil reduction and 5 added ergo, and the good ones have 4% recoil reduction and 7 added ergo. Like that would just mean that you would find new cool guns all the time. You know what I mean? Like instead of just the one singular HK build that exists.
You'd find new cool guns all the time. Fights would actually be far more skill based.
Yes.
So the people that are better at the game, even with the same gun, just like the guitar analogy, will still outperform the other people who aren't as good, which is, I think, the way it should be. Like, I'm fine with it being skill based, because then it the way that you have to look at anything being skill based is you have to ask the people who are lower skilled if they ever want to improve. Because if they say yes, okay, if you're low skilled now but you want to improve, as soon as you make the game not skill based, you're not rewarding them for improving.
100%.
So there's no point in them wanting to practice or wanting to get better or giving them advice, because it's literally not going to make a difference.
Yep.
So what you have is and also the price, the ridiculous price around a $38,000 foregrip that's 2 inches of plastic difference than another one.
Yep.
It can't justify the price, because it shouldn't justify the price. You buy one of those fucking grips, it's $38.
Yeah.
There's no reason why that should be more than some guns.
Yeah. And what's crazy is that like foregrips do nothing. Like the RK1, I think, is the meta one, the longest one. It does 5% recoil reduction. There's like 3 other ones in the game that do 4%. And it's like that 1% translates on most guns to 1 vertical recoil point. You know what I mean? And it's like, you're not going into a raid with a 97% chance to win because your gun has 42 instead of 43 vertical recoil. But because everybody else runs it, you feel like you've got to run it. I run MDRs with MDRs are such a great example of that, because you can't put buttstocks on MDRs. And buttstocks represent like 45% recoil reduction. You know what I mean? Depending on the thing. And people, every time I run an MDR, it's like, bro, you can only put a few attachments. You better put the meta ones on. And so I go in the preset menu and I build a meta one. And I'm like, this is a 30,000 ruble MDR, and it costs 78,000 rubles in attachments. This one costs 12,000 rubles in attachments, and it has 2 more vertical recoil. Like,
and half the time that recoil, not only might it not make a difference, but I would argue that so often I die because I'm shooting center of mass, where if I had 1 or 2 more points of recoil, I'd probably bounce up and hit them in their fucking head, and I probably would win the fight. I almost never shoot over somebody's head. It's almost always their arms are eating it, because I have the bad habit of shooting center mass from like my days of playing Halo and COD.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
yeah, dude, I just feel like the recoil system, yeah, of course, I don't have an elaborate presentation for exactly what I think it should be, but
you just gave it, and it was compelling.
I like it being a little bit more skill based. I don't think. This I was going to say something. Going back to what you said, where it's like, I think that's such a great point, and I think people subconsciously miss that. Where you ask the low skill people, do you want to get better? And if you don't provide a skill based experience, they have no way to get better. And I think Tarkov's. I think part of Tarkov is like a great, just like farce. I think people are scared to make changes. People are scared that making changes, making it more skill based, would make them lose more fights. And I think it might. But I think if we made a bunch of changes that made Tarkov more skill-based, you'd lose more fights, but 6 months from now, you'd win a lot more. Because you think that because it's like a coin flip that works in your favor, because sometimes it does, right? Like sometimes you aim punch the dude that's infinitely more skilled than you are, and you're like, see, if we change that, I'm not going to kill that guy. And it's like, yeah, for a time, but imagine all the time you've played Tarkov up until this point, you could actually get better at the game. You know what I mean? Like you'd be a god now. You know what I mean? So I think people are scared of that. They think it will be worse for them, but I think long term it would be better. It would be, you'd actually be able to like look at your own mechanics, figure out what you do right, what you do wrong, and get better. So I don't know,
dude. One more thing on this. Think about if the blurriness of the vision and like I like that I think they added fairly recently the like sizzle noise in your ears when you get shot. And
I got scared the first time that happened.
Because like they always had like the ringing, but that was like almost like a sizzling, like an explosion went off, and like it so I love that effect. So imagine a dude with an MP5 filled with PST or even PSO, right, against an Alton boy. They peek each other. That dude hitting them in the helmet. I'm fine with there being a shit ton of visual aim punch and blur, and then cracking in the shield, making it harder to see. If you need to hit him 70 times, it's like one of those boss fights where it's like, I'm fucking slow, but it makes it so that like it balances it, because it's going to be that much harder. Like it's going to be easy if I am afforded a little bit more time by the fact that you have some cumbersome heavy bullshit that you're using, that then if I am go head to head up against you and I hit my shots on you, I don't instantly win, but I gain an advantage. Whereas if you're able to do it on me and you have better, then I'll die. But it just makes everything more interesting, more viable, more fun. I just wish all this stuff was better. But instead, I feel like there are so many times where you're just peppering somebody with a million bullets, and again, I'm sure this is like some hypocritical double standard, or maybe it's just inconsistency, or maybe it's a combination of luck or whatever. But sometimes, if I'm wearing an Alton on a meme run or a killer helmet, actually, that clip I put up on Twitter of the guide where I got killed by the raiders that spawned.
God. Yeah.
That when I was wearing the killer helmet, I was prone, and it was like couldn't fucking see anything, dude. I couldn't hear anything, but it was like, holy fuck, like that. That was the raiders spawning was bullshit.
That was
but the fact that I ate so many bullets was like
kind of cool.
Wow, my ammo actually did something. Yeah. But that's a function of a raider or a player who has a skill with inferior quality stuff will win. Yeah. Because they're essentially like incapacitating you. Yeah. Even though they're not killing you, they're hurting you slower. Yeah. Yeah. So.
And that I think is like a fundamental experience of Tarkov, is that it's a fundamental, not what I'm saying like right now. I'm saying like the promise of Tarkov. I think something fundamental to that is if you have the skill with lower quality stuff, you can win. You know what I mean? That's why I watch Smoke. It's because he goes in with an AK with no attachments on it. And he walks out with 37 seconds left in the raid, full backpack, his gun's all modded out. You know what I mean? Because he has the skill. And sometimes...
That's the reason why we love movies like Black Hawk Down and all that shit. Or even John Wick or... fucking like Bourne Identity.
Jason Bourne, yeah.
where like I have a pencil and I'm gonna kill
MacGyver.
14 guys.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah, so
fucking love that.
sometimes it feels like the experience takes away from that, but I agree. I want that to be, yeah. I don't know. I agree. I think, ugh, the recoil system could definitely use some love. I know you wanted to talk about the spawns. You were having you were saying that they're fixed, right? Like they're great. They're all perfect on all the maps now.
Fucking just fantastic. I had like every fight on reserve. The spawns over by the corner bunkers. Again, I should probably learn the fucking callouts because I'm like, the corner area with the building on reserve.
I don't know the callouts, so I generally say those same ones you're saying.
But yeah, it's just the grassy corner over by the hole in the wall extract for scavs.
Yep.
That side. It's like
toxic.
If you spawn in one corner, I literally turn. I take 4 steps forward up until I'm on a little hill. I turn right and I hold my crosshair there, and 75% of the time, somebody walks by and I go, blink, and they die.
Dude, did you see what I posted to Twitter? We were just talking about that with chat. Like I was just like talking about chat. The timing, Nikita just blessed me. I was like, chat, I was like, I know the game that Nikita wants to make. And then I loaded into the reserve raid. And I was like, it's not a game where I jump up on this rock, look down here, and kill this guy. And I zoomed in, and there he was, and I took a shot at him. And I just looked at the camera, and I clipped that, and I posted to Twitter. I was like, this isn't it. You know what I mean? So it was reserved, bro. I was at Dome. I was near Dome, and I looked in that exact corner you're talking about. And I was like, there he is.
Jesus, dude. Yeah, so the problem is, and I was gonna explain this earlier, but I said I'm gonna hold off.
Oh yeah.
Is that people were like, oh, they should be randomized, they should be this, they should be that. The part of the point I was making is that they are randomized, but randomized is a completely meaningless. It's a completely meaningless thing. Because
your mouse is on your nose.
God, my bad.
But yeah,
you can have like random doesn't tell you anything, because you can have a good system that's random and a bad system that's random. Imagine a system that said, like, this is the dumbest example, but I'm going to, for each and every person individually, let's say there's 10 spawns, 1 through 10, I am going to randomly assign them a number from 1 through 10 and put them all there. There's a world in which everybody spawns at number 3.
Everybody gets 3.
Right. That's random, but it's terrible, right? There's the system that exists today, which I'm fairly certain is there's 20 spawns and there's 10 players, and they do the same thing where it's like randomly we're going to spawn people in places, but we're just going to remove from the pool somewhere where somebody else gets put. That's probably what they have today, and that makes sense. Especially when you are on a map like Factory, where there's like 7 spawns and 5 players. So if you spawn in, it's like somebody down that hallway. Nope, turn left. Going to be somebody down there. Oh, there he is, right?
Yeah.
Like just process of elimination. So the problem with the spawns is not. It's not to. The most common things that people say is, 1, make it random, which again is meaningless.
Yeah.
Or they say just increase the radius of like the spawn area, or move the spawns apart.
Yeah.
The problem that you have is twofold. 1, some maps simply don't have the space for that. And even if they did, that's not the problem. The problem isn't necessarily proximity, because I can envision a world in which you spawn 5 feet from somebody and it's a good spawn if they're a floor above you, right? Like in the middle of a hallway, because the problem with the spawns, the fundamental problem, which is, again, this is one of these issues where if they need to solve the problem, they need to properly identify the problem. It's not that the spawns are too close together, or that there's not enough, or that they're not random. The problem is that you can be spawned in predictable places to where there's only one way to go, because once that's the case, you are the fucking, like, everybody on the map is the 300 Spartans at the hot gates. You have nowhere to go. It's like spawning behind Forklift. So the big problem is Forklift is bad, because if you spawn in glass, or if you spawn around the corner, so the guy around the corner, he can potentially go out. He has the door down the stairs, the door out down the ramp, or he can go straight across. So he has at least some options, but even then it's not great. The guy, you literally have to hold W as soon as you spawn, and then from there you can already be grenades coming lobbing towards that doorway.
Almost always what happens, yep.
So you're stuck there, and the same for glass hallway. If you happen to not instantly get and figure out where you are and turn and run, as soon as somebody walks out from behind forklifts and hold that angle, you're stuck there.
Yep.
So what the solution is to make it so that when you have, and this is how I would design it. And again, this is like, I plan on doing a video on this at some point, maybe. But from a high level, you start off with the definition of like the spawn system. The algorithm needs to be spawn person A anywhere, doesn't matter. For every additional person that spawns in, they should not be trapping another player in a location that has less than 2 points of entry or exit. That's it. Like, as soon as, if imagine they expand factory, and imagine there's a doorway, the door is open behind the forklift spawn. Well, now instantly that problem gets a little less bad, because now if you're getting spawn killed by glass every time, if you turn around and walk backwards, as long as nobody spawns behind you, you are now guaranteed to not die in the first 4 seconds. Right? So there just needs to be a way in which, I mean, the real solution is open world and everything, and then spawns don't matter. But until then, it really just comes down to, and here's what I would do. I would, and I did this the other day, I would look at the map, and on every map, I'd probably just start with putting a bunch of random points on the map as a starting point. And then I would say, okay, let's say I was here. Let's say people spawned in the nearest 3 or 4 locations. What are my options here? I would want like 5 or 6 different options for every single spawn. Because if you think about, and when I say options, I don't mean like possible options. I mean like viable options. Like, you don't want to spawn somebody 100 meters closer to like marked room on customs. But make it so that their only viable thing is to run opposite, right? Like, everybody's gonna go that way, and they're just gonna hope that they got better RNG, right? It needs to be that they can't, like, you can't be stuck. And even if even if you have all the experience in the world and you spawn and you're like, I know this spawn, and there's 2 other people, I know where they're gonna be. It, like, by the time you get there, you can't cut them off. You can't prevent them from leaving. You can't hold like that. It just needs to be.
You can't trap people.
Exactly. So that's really the issue is where are the places that you can escape from? What kind of options do you have? And it all comes down to the fact that they don't have dynamic loot. So BSG's solution is, essentially every map is a big circle where everybody spawns 100 meters around the outside and runs toward the center. So all anybody needs to do is kind of just look to their left or right, and they'll see people converging. But if loot was randomized, then you wouldn't be incentivized to instantly run in the same direction every time. And also, then you could spawn. You then open up the entire map essentially for spawn options.
100%.
Like when I was doing this on customs, I did like a spawn at like old gas station. New gas station. I did a spawn over by, like, again, this is just an example, but assume Rashala doesn't spawn there. Like, this is all built into a system that you'd have to be clever about it. You can't just, make up stupid rules or whatever. But if you can spawn in all these other places around the middle of the map, you've just now opened up so many more options 100%. And possibilities, because people are going to go. I mean, think about on customs, how many times you're going to want to go to old gas for a quest, or over there for a quest, or you need to go to dorms or whatever. if somebody spawns at dorms and it's not always 100% of all the loot is right there, then you might either run in any possible direction. I need to go to construction. I'm going to go where there's gunfire. I'm going to go across the bridge, right? Like, that's how you solve the spawn problem.
It's crazy. Like, if you take loot out of it, if you like think about spawns, you take loot out. I mean, you look at a map like Shoreline, like geographically, like square footage, that map is huge. But a lot of times you can be frustrated with your spawn point because it's a spawn and then it's just ants marching towards the resort. And you think about like behind, you could never spawn somebody Rock Passage because it would just be like, whoop, like I get all the loot. And people would be like, oh, that's so toxic. That's such a terrible spawn. But that means there's like a whole part of the map that you can't really utilize because.
But there are people that basically that's the thing. Is that there are two spawns.
For sure.
Like so that's the other piece of it is that we already have like 2 or 3 spawns that get the loot if they want.
Oh, 100%.
So at that point, it's like, just put fucking half of the map within short running distance to the dorms. And even then, you've now opened up so many things. As long as there's like 3 walls, a road, and a doorway, it doesn't matter if they're 100 meters away. But when there's just an open field, right, you're fucked.
So without the loot, I feel like is such a. I mean, there's definitely not like I agree with what you're saying. I definitely agree. It feels like it just goes, okay, player 1 gets spawn 12. Player 2 can get all the spawns except spawn 12. That's all the logic that goes into it, as opposed to actually like, and that's all but proven with Factory, man. They literally reduced the player count so that the spawn fights weren't bad. And I feel like
they're worse than they've ever been.
They're worse than they've ever been. It feels like 9 out of 10 raids, all 5 PMCs spawn in Forklift. Glass Hall, a duo back at this, and then the other one around the corner. And it's like 11-second raids. If you win, it's like, well, what the hell am I going to do? I just get this guy's loot and extract. Like, you know what I mean? It's crazy. So
here's the thing. It's way easier than actually I even said it and that a lot of people think. Because it's not like we're trying to design a crazy extensible dynamic system that can work on any map forever in the future. It's not like it's a procedurally generated thing. We're talking about make a solution that works for at most 12 people, and you only have to do that for what? 6 maps?
Yeah, it doesn't
take 2 interns, give them some Red Bull and put them in the room for the weekend and they'll solve it.
Yeah, it really doesn't.
Because you literally
feel
have to say, imagine if you just came up with, you need to come up with 20 spawn combinations where this isn't fucked. And you literally just put dots on the thing and say, all right, is A work? Yup. Cool. It only gets easier from there, because then imagine if you have a group of 3, a group of 2, and a group of 4. Well, now you'd only need 8 spawns.
Yep.
So it literally is worst case if it's 12 solo players, hard code it to there's just a handful of spawn combinations. Don't even make it random in that it'll choose one of 20 random things.
Yeah.
But make it so that like they can make it so that it's not predictable, so that you don't know, like, oh, this is pattern 7. I know somebody's over there. Even if you knew that, even if you could reverse engineer it, make it so that you don't instantly win.
Yeah, exactly. As long as it's like you can realize that this is pattern 7, but the time it takes for me to get to them, they've had 12 opportunities of places they could go. So that right there makes it an almost infinite amount of possibilities of like, how did you try to get there? What route did they go? You would still get in spawn fights, but it wouldn't be like reserve where it's like before your guy has raised your gun, you're like, okay, there's a guy up there. I guess I should watch out for him. And you know what I mean? It's just like,
dude, I heard there was at one point I heard like the rumor, and I don't know. Was of course never able to corroborate it, but it was basically that if you were solo and you spawned sewers in labs, that meant, based on their logic at the time, that everybody was solo.
I've heard
because they
that.
ran out of spawns. So it's like the only combination of players is that, like, I don't know how many, 8 on labs. I don't even know. That there's literally only so many combinations that if they put a solo down in sewer, then that means there's no teams.
Yeah.
Again, I was never able to corroborate that, but that's an example where at that point we know where everybody spawned, but you're so
far away
from anybody, And it's not necessarily distance. It's not linear distance.
No.
It's like map-wise distance.
Time
it's
takes
the same,
to get from point A to point B.
It's the same reason why, like in CS:GO or Valorant, you look at the way they design maps. And this is a conversation about map design more than anything. They don't design a map with a hallway where there's like a dead end. Everywhere always has two ways. You can always turn around and go backwards and go another way. Every building has a front and a back entrance. You almost never have like one way in, because that just makes for shitty game design. Because then if you go in the house and somebody comes in after you, I'm just gonna sit here all day. Where it's like in real life, you break the window, you jump out the fucking window, or you do something, you know, like otherwise you would never put yourself in that position.
100%.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. And that's what it's crazy. Yeah, it doesn't feel. They don't have 47 maps. They don't have like each map has. You know what I mean? Like I pulled up like Map Genie. I don't know exactly how accurate these are, but it says that there's 25 unique spawn points on reserve. So it's like there's not 25 PMCs. It's just like work out a few scenarios that make sense for everybody and put us in those few scenarios, because exactly if as long as it takes a little bit of time for me to get to the closest player, and as long as the closest player has more than one options, that means after the 10-second mark in the raid, it's completely random, and that's what we want. You don't know if that person is waiting for you to push, if they push left, if they push right. They don't know if you pushed right or pushed left, and there's actual, like, it feels natural. It feels like you don't know, you know what I mean? So it doesn't seem like it's like this huge developmental nightmare, you know what I mean? So the problem, the reason why it's still a problem is because they don't understand the problem. Yeah.
It's the reason why, like, I know I'm a broken record, but it's the reason why all the problems still exist, despite them being around for so long and everybody complaining about them for so long. The reason why is because the community thinks they know the problem, and they complain so loud and so long to the developers who aren't really in touch with what the state of everything is. So people say, just move the spawns further apart and make them more random. And they go, okay, and they move further apart and they make them more random. And but that you can have them be further apart and be more random and still have all these bottlenecks.
Yeah,
because you're not, the requirement is not avoid bottlenecks, because that's the problem.
Yeah.
Right? It's not, when you have a solution, the solution should be fix the problem. It shouldn't be do this thing. The problem is we haven't implemented this fix.
Yeah.
No. What's the problem?
Yeah.
And then fix the problem. Don't assume you know the solution and then say do the solution.
Yeah.
And that's what the issue has always been. Oh, the problem is hatchling, so you need to, get rid of the gamma container and blah 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 blah. And it's like, okay, well,
what's the problem?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are they hatchet running? Oh, it's because they can't make money either way, or because they don't like losing things or whatever. It's like, okay, well then address that.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a whole other topic I don't want to get into.
No, yeah, but I see what you're saying. And like you were saying, I definitely look towards the future where if it is ever open world, you just don't have to worry about it, and you're truly always wondering where people are. Like, I get excited about that for sure.
I'm building my solar power, 62 hours. Fuck off.
Yep.
I had to sell. So the graphics cards were 1.2 million.
Yep.
The ASEAs or whatever, the phased array elements, those are 2.5 mil.
Jeez.
So I had to spend 5 million to buy those 4. I already had the cables and I had the power filters. So, but I was 3 mil. Yeah. So I just spent 9 million rubles. And mind you, I have had more than 1 million rubles like for single digit minutes of this entire patch. And of course I just had to sell a whole bunch of shit to make 8 million, and now I'm at 200,000 rubles, and it's like, where'd all your money go, streamer?
Bro,
I'm just playing the game.
I got super lucky and got those phased arrays off the fleet for like 1.5. The fact that they're 2.5 now is nutty.
I didn't pay much attention to, I mean I did, but I don't know, I don't care that much about it to really, like, me, if I'm interested in something, I can figure out a way to fucking min-max it if I want to. I'll do the analysis. It's just like it was just so boring to me. But now that now that
fuel is 900.
Now that fuel is so expensive, and then Bitcoin is so expensive, and everything is so expensive, like, and not only that, but it'd be fine if I could buy, even if I could pay 180,000 for a can of fuel, I would still pay it, and it wouldn't be that big a deal. But I can't, because they instantly get sold out. There's no global, or there is a global limit on it.
Yeah.
So I have to spend $500,000 on a tank that I come back and my tank's gone, and I have literally nothing is being crafted except there's one Bitcoin sitting there. I'm like, damn, is that really worth $500,000? I'm like, what the fuck? Because I can't be bothered to do any of the other crafts because I just don't fucking care.
Yeah.
But fuel consumption minus 50%. It's like, ooh, what you're essentially telling me is that I'm getting a 50% discount on my gas, which to me, that's 250,000. I don't know, what is that? So a $250,000 times 4. I just spent 8 million, so that's 8 times 4, the 32. That will pay for its. I'm trying to do the math to figure out how many bitcoins that'll be before I get my
pay off the
8 million rubles back.
Yeah.
That's what. Yeah, 32 bitcoins, or I don't know what
something like that.
I've already fucked my math up, but it'll pay itself back
for sure,
assuming that the market doesn't crash as soon as I go and spend all this fucking money.
Yeah, that's true. But it's been Bitcoin has been
1 week since I looked at you.
I think the bigger metal fuel can on solar will power your hideout for 53 hours. So you get, just even on one, plenty of runway.
Yeah, I've got 24 hours on my 90 out of 100 tank. So yeah, it's about would be at least 50.
So I've been really going for the hideout stuff. I've been loving using the hideout. Like you can make so much money on the hideout. I like crafting stuff and then using it. Like I like crafting all the fabrics in the lavatory, and then you can barter for like really good armors for Ragman with those fabrics. I like crafting 7 and 31 and AP 6.3. I've got a whole ammo case full of found and raid of the best 9mm because I just craft it, and then I take a vector out or something.
It's only profitable though if you like use the shit or whatever, or if you find the stuff and craft, right? But the price of every other thing ends up being, the constituent parts go up to be, if there's 4 X's, then it's a fourth of the price. Is that, you can't just buy it and craft it.
No, that's why I craft 9mm, because like to craft AP 6.3, it takes 2 red gunpowders and 200 like green tracer rounds, which are like 68 rubles a round. The red gunpowders are like 35,000 rubles a piece. Or you can craft 1 blue gunpowder and 1 green gunpowder. You can craft a blue gunpowder for 70 PS ammo. You can craft a green gunpowder with a smoke grenade and 2 M67s. Both of those gunpowders come out cheaper to craft than to buy. Then you use the red and the green plus 1 box of matches to craft 2 red gunpowders.
But then you just told everybody, and now the prices will get raised to the point where you can only make 1 ruble profit in 40 hours.
You can buy everything from the traders. You buy 70 PS ammo from Proper. You buy M67s.
Yeah, and don't they have dynamic prices now? Or at least the prices of things have been changing. I don't know how dynamic it is, but I mean, that's why fuel has gone up. That's why the fucking the labs key cards are 213,000 rubles now.
Yeah. I don't know. I just like, I just, when I'm making 3 650,000 ruble Bitcoins a day, I just don't care if what I'm crafting is profitable or not. I don't know. I like using it. I'm trying to go towards, I hate that the crafting skill is bugged, because I want to get elite hideout management and crafting this way, because
I don't even know what does that do for you?
Okay. Elite hideout management means that you can hold 5 Bitcoin in your thing without it stopping production, as opposed to 3. It means you can put 2 more fuel containers in there. You can put 2 additional water filters in there, and you can put an additional FP100 filter. So you can hit everything out more.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so like the water filters that make the super water, you can just put 3 in and not have to worry about that. You have to collect the super waters, but you don't have to worry about putting them in.
So you got to play the game a shit ton just to min-max all your skills to make it so that if you're not playing, you're rewarded.
Yes. Hideout management is that. The crafting skill elite means from every individual station, you can craft 2 items at the same time.
Oh, great. I can break even twice as fast.
Bro, are you kidding me? No way, dude. You can. There's like the Intel Center is insanely profitable to craft stuff.
Is it?
Things.
Okay, let me look. Like, I've only been making GPUs because it's the only thing that prints money.
It just takes time. Craft VPXs. It's like a G phone, a RAM stick, and something else. Okay.
Okay. Let's look at this.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, wait, don't. Oh, you can't tell anybody. All right. So, is it one of each?
I don't know.
Wait, you said VPX. So it's a stick of RAM, which is 30K, an SSD, which is 30K, and a G phone, which is 10K. So what is that, 70K?
And you craft 2 VPXs, which sell in the flea market for $280,000 a piece.
Wait, what the fuck?
Or you craft graphics cards, and the most expensive component of the graphics card craft is a single VPX. And graphics cards are $2 million.
Oh, it's 3 sticks of RAM? Okay, wait a minute. 3 sticks of RAM. I can't see when you're crafting, you can't see the fucking
Yeah. If you're already crafting something, yeah.
So it's 3 sticks of RAM. So that means it's 90 plus 30 plus 10, so 130.
Which is not. Somebody just said that VPXs are 380 right now. They were 280 the last time I checked. So crafting VPXs is 1,000,000% profitable.
Oh, great. Well, I'm 10% through a GPU, so I've got 47 hours until I can fucking take advantage of the deal that won't exist at that point anymore. Sick.
It will, though.
Son of a bitch.
It will. No, here's the thing, is that those crafts take way too damn long for people to like, yes, right now, as we are speaking about this, RAM prices are going up, G-Phone prices are going up, and everybody's thinking that they're going to be the smart dude that's crafting all the graphics cards is going to realize it takes 50 hours to craft VPXs. You have 2 VPXs now, and it takes 60 hours to craft each graphics card. So by the time you use both those VPXs and craft a VPX again, it's a week later. And nobody cares that much to be on it that much. So like, dude, I'm positive about this, bro. You know how much absolute bull I got for my MP9 video? Bro, this is a week ago. People are still coming in saying you broke the MP9 market. How much is an MP9 on the flea market right now? The MP9 and a black one.
I don't know. I never used that shit gun.
It's so good.
You couldn't pay me to fucking.
Poor man's Vector, bro.
And the Vector's a poor man's rifle.
Are you kidding me? The Vector's arguably
kidding.
better than like a FAL these days.
Yeah, if only I could like buy magazines and ammo regularly. MP9 24K.
Okay. When I made my
people saying that's like expensive?
When I made my video, they were 15. I said they were 15 to 18K. I put a 30-second thing in the video. I looked at the camera. I said, now I know you're commenting right now that I broke the MP9 economy. I said, if this gun doubles in price and remains that price forever, if these are 30K, I still think they're worth it. 2, they're going to skyrocket, and 3 days from now, they're going to be completely returned to normal. Dude, oh my God. Which I actually loved it because every person that commented helped me in the YouTube algorithm. So I'm cool with that. But I still, dude, during this podcast, somebody added me in your chat and said, why did you destroy the MP9 market? They're 20,000 rubles. Jesus Christ. If you're frustrated about your 15,000 ruble gun being 20,000 rubles, go play a different game. So it's like,
like what ammo are you buying in which like the ammo and the mags for these guns are so many orders of magnitude
more expensive. Yeah.
It's $40 for a 30 round mag. How much is $40? Is that
it's like 5,000 or 6,000 rubles.
Okay, so yeah, 5,000. So let's say you can't have just 4 mags. That's like you're done. You're done.
1,100.
So you need like 6 mags. That's literally more. It's 30,000 for the mags.
25 rounders are the.
And then what are you gonna put it? Like what ammo are you gonna put in?
The crafted 7 and 31 and AP 6.3 that I have.
No, but I mean like all these other people that are complaining. It's you're either gonna.
Yeah.
Those people shouldn't be complaining about the price of the MP9 because either they have all that crafted and they should sell it and use a different fucking gun.
Yes. Or stop complaining in my chat about the fact that it's now 20,000 rubles instead of 15. It's unreal. So what I'm saying is like, yeah, if BSG makes a new craft for a LEDX or a red keycard, all of the associated items skyrocket in price and will remain there forever. But I'm not unlocking the secrets of the universe telling you that it's profitable to craft VPXs because nobody has the attention span longer than a goldfish. So nobody's sitting there for 56 hours. You know what I mean? Like, how much RAM are you going to stock up on before the game's going to wipe before you craft enough VPXs? Because with the VPXs, you're going to want to craft graphics cards, and that's another 60 hours a piece. So it's like there's profitable things in the hideout for sure.
There are. There's definitely got to be some element, though, to just by saying it. And there's also a difference between, like, when, you know, like the whole Pestily LPS, Mosin thing, where, like, that's we're talking about, like, trader prices and Nikita versus, like, market prices. But, I forgot where I was going with that. Fuck.
Yeah, it's just... So this all came from, like, the crafting skill lets you craft two things. Like, I feel so ridiculously confident
and I remember
in my ability to craft things that either I'm going to use that cost less than I would have bought it off the flea market for, or craft things that I can make money on. It's just a little bit more long-term money. So I can double my profits and if I can double the amount of fabric I'm crafting from Lavatory and bartering for, like, Tactecs and AACPCs, class 5 armored rigs, like, that's dope. Like, there's no way you're telling me the 4 2,000 ruble slings it takes to craft a Cordura when Cordura is 20,000 rubles on the market. Like, I am making money. I am profiting from this 100%. If you let me craft 2 things from each station, I'll just profit more.
Yeah, a lot of it comes down to whether or not the items are craftable versus quest items.
Yeah,
like they're found in raid, right? So, like, if they are needed for a quest, then, or they're needed for another barter or a craft that gives you quest items that you need for found in raid,
that is very true.
The price 100% just ends up being exactly the constituent pieces,
or even more in some cases.
But this also comes down to, like, the, you know, when people say there's the scarcity around stuff, and, you know, the problem is that there's so many people playing that even if each person can only do 1 VPX every 60 hours, there's enough people that if every single person logs on a Tarkov right now and decides they want to do that craft, then that's enough
for sure.
to where the price can go up. But if it was a good enough deal.
Now, I'm definitely no Veritas, you know what I mean? I don't have a few 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, but I posted a video.
They don't watch my videos
called
anymore.
Is the Hideout Still Worth Upgrading in Escape from Tarkov, like 5 days ago, and I outlined all of my favorite crafts, and yesterday I had no problem. You know what I mean? It's got 30,000 views. Like,
well, I mean, but my 399 viewers, they've now all told Reddit.
And now the Reddit army. But you are definitely onto something where if it's related to a quest, if you can craft something that you need is any way connected to a found and raid item for a quest, or if it's meta. So for instance, like, you can craft 995, that craft will always be exactly the price because 995 is God, and when you use it, your gun is made of solid gold and you just win fights. So that's just going to be it. But people sleep on the ability, dude. The thing, you know how many, like, I did the same thing with the shrimp. I made that shrimp video, and dude, people are like, people coming, you ruined the shrimp market. You can buy every piece of it from the trader, and the prices.
For a day, everybody was using the shrimp, and now nobody's using the shrimp.
Yeah, two things. One, for a day, everyone was using the shrimp. No one's using the shrimp. Actually, three.
You're such a trendsetter.
Three things. For a day, everyone was using the shrimp. Now no one is. 2, every price I quoted in that video was the trader price. Like, I can't have ruined the market if you can buy 3 from Purpore for the exact price I said. And 3,
unless it gets so popular that Nikita decides to raise it.
That is true. Then that would be on me after. But then 3 is that, like, what's crazy is that, like, the people that complain that my videos on, like, use the MP9, use the shrimp, use the people that complain are the people that use those guns already because of how frustrated they are that everything is meta. And they're like, I hate meta. I want to use, and like, I'm a content creator out here trying to like show the world that like you can be so good at Tarkov with so many different guns. And then those people that hate that every Chad has an HK come in and they're like, why'd you tell him my secret? It's like,
Bro,
well, I thought you wanted people to use more guns. Like I thought, oh my God, it kills me, dude.
Those are the people that literally everything they do was knowledge they learned from somebody sharing in the community, whether it's a content creator or rumors on Reddit or whatever. Everything they use is because they were told to use it. And then you go to tell you happen to tell people to use the thing that they already know. And they're like, no, you're only allowed to tell me new shit that I don't know. Bro. You can't tell any of the other people. Come on.
It's crazy. It doesn't actually like negatively affect me, but it blows me away because like I'm out here trying to like show people crafts in the hideout and like you can use this, you can be good no matter what you use. You know what I mean? If Fluven right now is arguing with someone in chat defending him using PST still in an MP9, it's like when he used to do the same thing with SP5 and everyone was like, oh, and then like you made a video about it.
I needed to do a 45-minute video explaining why
a video about it.
People are idiots.
So it's like all I'm trying to do, and people get so butthurt about something that either affects them not at all or affects them for a matter of hours. 12 hours later, the shrimp market was back to normal. 24 hours later, the MP9 market was back to normal. Like everybody, and I count it as such an honor that the market went up because that meant people wanted to try a gun that they haven't used. And if they tried it and didn't like it, dude, cool beans. Use whatever you want in Tarkov. But it's so weird, bro, that it's just like, I thought the whole point was that we don't want like just one meta all the time. People try new stuff. Like you're just mad that I can actually kill you with an MP9 and you've got your exfil helmet on. You know what I mean? Like,
dude, I do have to say that there was a day. He's so excited. There was a day where I was having an extremely bad day, like 4 hours of just insta death. Like I was super frustrated. I'm like, fuck it. I'm literally going just only factory. I'm gonna bring some shitty old level 2 armor, like 39 out of 50 P.A.K.As, and I'm gonna build 3 shrimp. Bro. And I'm gonna try out the Jesse gun. And like I was ready to like give you shit. And I literally survived like 7 raids in a row. And it was like, fuck. Yes. Someone was like, send this to Jesse. And then of course the best part is that during that period of time I found like 17 gas analyzers in fucking filing cabinets. I'm like, right back at you, bitch. Dude, I find so many. I am actually like so pissed at how many I find. I have a folder that's gas analyzers for Jesse that I deleted the folder because I had so many that it wasn't even like funny anymore.
That is actually really funny. Dude, I love that you're slaying out with the shrimp. It's so funny. It's so funny.
It's funny until you come across the duo with Altons, and then you go plink, 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 and you're like, oh, fuck, I'm dead. Because, you know, you come across a bunch of hatchlings and a bunch of mid-level dudes, and you make some good plays, and then all of a sudden, you go to peek a hallway, and there's 3 guys standing there, and you're like, I'm literally dead.
You're absolutely right. This is an interesting thing, though. I propose that I propose that a video game we all like to play is better when you can't win every fight. We play Tarkov assuming that everything we bring into the raid, we should be able to win every fight. I think the open world Tarkov that you and me dream about means sometimes you see that dude and you go, no way, and you run the other direction. I think that's a good game mechanic.
Sometimes you lose and you're like, no, and then let me get back in.
Yes.
Go back to where they were, and maybe they were still there because there's 27 bodies there, and they're looting and they're doing laps, and you have a chance to get revenge. I mean, dude, imagine 2 4-man squads getting in a fight, 2 people die, come back in, 15 minutes later, roll up, they get into a fight, 1 dies.
Yeah.
Like 4 people could have like an hour's worth of fights, and you can lose and win and end up breaking even. Yeah. And you've just had literally an hour's worth of epic fun. Yeah. And you've broken even. But that's so much better than going in, dying, going in, winning, extracting.
Yeah.
Going in, dying, going in, winning, extracting.
Yeah. because you think about like a fundamental part of DayZ is like you start with nothing and you work your way up. So every encounter, you essentially mentally look in your bag and you go, oh, what do I have? Do I have a good gun? Do I have any armor? And you make that decision. Should I fight this? Tarkov, it's just like we assume that like if an enemy exists on this map, it's total bullcrap if I cannot eliminate them swiftly. Like, you know what I mean? And so I think you're definitely not wrong that, yeah, if you've got the shrimp and you come up on the 2-man with the thing, but and the argument there is that in DayZ, you don't choose to have nothing. Once you die, you just have nothing. And in Tarkov, I get the argument. In Tarkov, it's like, why would you ever choose to go into a raid with something that could not kill a potential enemy? But I always just try to come at it from the perspective of like, I always say this in my videos, if you're bored or if you're new, try this. If you've got 200 million rubles,
or frustrated,
just
or
run your exfil,
or anything.
You know what I mean? Like run your exfil helmet, run your HK. But if you're bored, or if you're new, or if you're frustrated, try the MP9, try the shrimp. You know what I mean? Like I did the same thing, dude, with my. I actually put this on the thing. I did a video called "Is Class 4 Armor Worth It?" And
a lot of people have been talking about. Actually, we should talk about this. A
we
lot
should
of people.
talk about this.
The hot take that I've heard, at least, I haven't seen the video. I usually watch all your videos. I just haven't had a chance to consume
very
fucking YouTube. But the hot take, the summary that I've gotten, and you'll have to tell me if this is fair, is Korund is basically class 4 and not worth it.
That is not at all. Oh my God. You know what's crazy? Oh, you just I'm imploding right now. That I'm imploding because
wow, someone misunderstood your fucking
dude, oh no. That's like 4 months ago. I made a video specifically titled "Is the Korund worth using in Escape from Tarkov?" And like the thesis, like when my wipe transition over for my intro, the thesis was like, a bunch of people come in my chat and they say that Korund is basically just a class 4 armor. And I just walked them through the thing. By the way, I feel like I owe you royalties. I've made so much AdSense money off of your Battle Buddy app. Like, it's crazy. People think that I'm like a guru. All I do is I think of a topic and I sit here in Battle Buddy on my phone for an hour writing notes. Like,
you made more from Battle Buddy than I have.
Dude, I have my note in my phone where I literally have a list of armors, ammos, and then percentage chance to pen, and then at this many bullets fired, what's the percentage chance to pen? Like your app just informed this, and then what we do is I'm like, wow, so now we can look at this information. So like people say that a Korund is a class 4. That's ridiculous because
I hate that whole fucking changing class thing.
Because 55A1 has a 93% chance to pen a trooper on its first shot, but only a 23% chance to pen a Korund. Like, what's crazy, it's like, it depends. And that's the thing. It's like, some people were like, oh, you made a video entitled, you should have just made this video entitled It Depends. And I guess that's a fair criticism because it really does.
It's not a fair criticism. That's the fucking,
that's the game.
What honest people say when something depends.
Yeah.
Like, imagine anything theoretical where the answer depends, and then ask somebody, if they give you the answer, it depends, they're true and it's correct.
Yeah.
It's not a fucking it's not like a cop out.
Because the way armor works is if you're running down interchange and somebody hits you once, somebody's going for a shooter one and heaven shot, and they hit you in the thorax. Armor, like, and if that shot, okay, yeah, they hit you once, your Korund is essentially a kill armor or a tactic. It's just a class 5 armor, and that round has the same percent chance to pen. Of course, might do more or less damage based on, like, to the armor based on the, material or something like that.
Wait, class 4 or class 5?
Class 5. So if you're Korund, your class 5 armor, if they only hit you once, it's the same as if they hit you in a killer armor once or a tactic once. It was the same percent chance. So that's why when they're like, it's just class 4. I'm like, no, because 55A1 would have had a 93% chance to pen that trooper on that first shot, but only a 23% chance for the Korund and the killer armor. You know what I mean? So it's like,
it's literally only better against shitty ammo, right?
What, the Korund?
Yeah, like if you're getting sprayed down with like PST, it's like goes from 9 bullets to 7 bullets or something, as opposed to, I mean, right?
Versus what? Like, it's better against crappy ammo versus what? Like a class 4?
Versus another class 5 armor that had better material. Because people hate that it has low durability. And the thing is, the way that I look at it, and this is one of those things that, don't tell my secret, it'll ruin everything, but I love the core end because it's so cheap that people think, like, they're under the misapprehension that it's bad, and that because of the low durability and it always being zeroed, it's bad. But the thing is that I'm always dropping my core end for insurance fraud.
Yeah, and you always get it back.
Because nobody picks it up because they think it's bad, but me dropping it when it's zeroed, it did its job.
100%.
I die with Tactics, like, I don't ever have a Tactic get zeroed out as much as I do with fucking Corund.
And you hit the nail right on the head, dude. People are like, my armor's zeroed. This is garbage. It's like, it's zeroed because you're alive because it's zeroed. It did its job. Like, and that was, so some of the overall takeaways, and I actually learned a lot making that video. Some of the overall takeaways were, one, we view armor wrong. Like, you don't go into a raid and go, this should tank approximately 7 shots, so I'm just going to W key into 7 shots and kill the guy. Always, I said this like 7 times in the video because I'm trying to nail it down. Mechanics, map knowledge, communication if you're in a duo, your aim, your ammo, all of that stuff is going to increase your survival rate way more than your armor. But sometimes you get surprised, but sometimes you miss your shots, but sometimes they get a drop on you, or there was another one. That's where armor begins. Your armor protection doesn't begin at the beginning of the raid. No, it's like you should use your ability to play the game first, and then armor comes in when something unexpected happens and it can save your life. And the value proposition of 100,000 ruble class 5 armor that I'm going to get back from insurance 99% of the time, in my opinion, is huge. Especially since the second takeaway, this was the one that actually surprised me the most, which is that you're never safe from a mag dump, like, ever. So, like, I tested.
There's nothing you can do. You get aim punched, you're blinded.
But not even if with no aim punch, like, that's what's crazy. So I ignored the edge cases of the people who don't realize that PRS is a terrible, you know what I mean? And they're going up against a guy only hitting thorax shots with PRS. Like, basically in the video, I was like, okay, assuming that they have played any amount of time and they know the first, second, and third best ammo in each caliber, I tested BT, BS, 55A1, FMJ for the MP7, and I threw in AP 6.3. AP 6.3 has 30 pen, you know what I mean? It's not like 7.62 PS, the round you can get on day 1 in an SKS has 30 pen. So, you know what I mean? 9mm AP has 30 pen. None of those rounds, obviously BS, but none of those other rounds, including the AP 6.3, including 9mm, took more than 8 shots to get a slick to the point where you have an over 90% chance to pen. The durability of the armor, like, I'm not saying you're zeroing the slick or any armor, like, all that is complex math on the materials and everything. But if you hit a slick 9 times with AP 6.3, you now have a 93% chance to pen it. Like, 9 bullets. That's, I was like, MP9, you can get 30 round mags. MP5 SD, you can get 50 round mags. MPX, you can get 50 round mags. Vector, you can get 50 round mags. Like, you're never safe from a mag dump. So once again, if you're spending hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of rubles on armor and you play like dog, you're just gonna die, bro. Like, you're never safe from the mag dump. You're never safe from the Vector. You're never safe from the laser beam HK. You're just never safe. You've got to play better. And so,
the thing that
I ended up being like, holy cow, armor isn't even worth it unless you play better. So why are you spending all this money on slicks? Like, I don't know.
Dude, agreed. I mean, the thing that most people say that have a rebuttal is what a couple of folks in chat are saying right now. It's the problem, which kind of shows I guess you missed kind of the point. The problem is it only lasts one fight. So if there's more people, then you're fucked. Okay, well, here's the thing. Even if you have whatever the insert best armor here, whether it's fort or whatever, ignore that it makes you slow. You're going to tank the most amount of shots and everything. You can still die to one bullet.
Yeah.
And, 995 or 60 M61 to the head. So regardless of what you have, the thing is that if you're wearing a fort armor or you're wearing a slick or whatever, your armor, when you die, you're going to die almost just like it's either your death rate is 50% or it's 52%.
Yeah.
The thing is that 98% of the time you're going to get your Corund back if it's 38 out of 50 because people just think it's broken and it's useless and you can repair it for next to nothing and you'll get it back 100 times. Whereas that tech, if you die, someone's either scabbed in already and fucking taken it, or maybe not tech, but like the slick or the hex or whatever. Yep. It's like, oh my god, I gotta drop everything and take this one thing. Where everybody's always like, bro, why are you taking that Corund?
Oh yeah,
because this like 100,000 ruble armor can save me in 20 fights.
Yeah.
When better armor that's 20 times more expensive might save me from one.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And
so do the fucking math.
Dude, 100%. And that's the thing is that, like, I ask people this all the time. It's like, imagine them, like, think about the last 10 times you died in Tarkov, whether it was 10 times in a row and you had a bad day or just the last 10 times you died. How many of those times can you confidently say that you 100% would have survived with better armor? Because for me, it's not a high percentage. I get face shotted by scavs. I get sniped by PMCs. I get leg meted by PMCs and scavs. Sometimes I just miss my shots, and no matter what I was wearing, I unfortunately gave my enemy the opportunity to kill me because I missed my shots or I whiffed the positioning. And then some small percentage of those deaths, if I had been able to tank one more round, I would have lived. But is bringing tens or hundreds of thousands of rubles extra of gear into a raid every time I die worth that small percent of time where tanking one extra bullet would have saved me? That's up to you to decide 100%, but it's like you have to understand it is what it is. Like people think slicks are necessity because they watch Landmark with them, but Landmark's survival rate goes down 2% if he starts rocking trooper armors. Landmark's survival, he's just a god. It's not
matter.
His slick that makes him good. You know what I mean?
And here's the thing. Like, so if and all the people again, they're doubling down on what I just fucking tried to point out is bad. If you're fighting a squad, it's only saving you from one person, and then after that, it's not protecting you from anything else. No, but imagine that you go head to head with a dude, and so there's two scenarios. He's got level 6, and you've got a Corund, or you've both got level 6s. Honestly, at that point, the circumstances are far more important than your armor.
Yeah.
But if you can one-tap him in the head, then you take his level 6 armor.
Yeah.
And now you've got fresh armor, and you're going to get your Corund back in the insurance.
Yep. And
because people aren't going to pick it up.
And realistically, if you're not Landmark and there are 4 players shooting at you, it's like the Corund's only going to last one. Neither is the slick. Like it doesn't matter what ammo they have. If there are 4 guns shooting at you, like the difference between tanking 8 and 12 rounds, if there are 4 people, like, and this goes back to the shrimp conversation where we were talking about, like, in Tarkov, there should be fights you run away from. We feel like slick should be this good because it should save me from enough ammo for me to 1v4. It's like, no, you either have to be as good as Landmark to 1v4 that often, you know what I mean? Or you have to be able to run away from a fight, flank, pick off one at a distance, maybe grab his stuff. Like, if you've got a slick and you're bad at Escape from Tarkov and there are 4 people shooting at you, it is not going to save you. If there are 4 scavs shooting at you,
all of that stuff, and they're scavs, and you're good, you'll still probably fucking lose.
Dude, exactly. So it's like, it's just that was the big takeaway for me was like, holy cow, like FMJ only takes 7 shots before you're at a 90% pen to a slick. 551 takes 5 shots before you're at 90%. BT takes 6 shots before you're at 90%. AP takes 8 shots. Like, you just don't want to be in a situation where you're getting mag dumped by one person or shot at all by a group. You want to avoid that. You want to play better than them, not just stand and feel like you are entitled to win a headshot battle against all 4 of them. It's like, it's crazy. It also, if anybody was ever on the fence about if you want armor to cover your stomach or arms, if it only takes 7 or 8 shots from 9mm AP to get that armor to the point where it's penned, no way I want that armor on my arms or stomach. Like, I only want it covering lethal zones. Like, and I've always thought that way, but a lot of people are still like, wouldn't it make sense? And it's like, this really, I was like, I need to like make a command in my chat. It's like, dude, you can't afford, even if it's a slick, you can't afford those shots on your arms. You know what I mean? It's like, just CMS it, bring a Surf 12. Like,
I want to get hit in my arms because not only is it protecting every other part of my body and protecting my armor, but the damage is getting reduced. And if it's blacked out and other limbs are blacked out, it's reduced even more. So again, if my fucking illusion of choice video, there are examples that I showed where if you've got like 50 HP left on your whole body, like 50 HP, and you get shot with 995, there's scenarios where you'll take like 3 damage.
Yep.
Because it's just all getting wasted to blacked out limbs. Yep. If all you have left is your chest or your head, you're going to take 3 damage, 5 damage.
Yep.
All that damage is going nowhere.
Yep. It's super weird. It's
It's because people don't understand how the systems work.
No, they don't. So it was just funny that, like, of course, that's going to happen. The takeaways, people are like, oh, Corund is trash. And it's like, bro, you did not watch the video if you think that's what it was about. Also, I made a point in there where I was like, if it's worth spending 250,000 rubles on an exfil helmet, that's class 4, by the way, and chops, that's class 3, by the way, and a face shield, that's class 3, by the way. I was like, if you can make a point that spending 250,000 rubles on a helmet that at its best is class 4, I feel like it's not a far stretch to pay. During the video, I was like, how much is an AVS? I looked up an AVS, like a 50 out of 70 AVS was 22,000 rubles. The armored rig, the AVS, it was I was like, so you're telling me there's no situation where it's worth it for me to spend 22,000 rubles on this, spend 20,000 rubles repairing it, and have class 4 armor on my body? Like,
I think that there's 2 sides of that. One, I run class 4 armor pretty much only exclusively. Yeah. I have slicks and hexes in my in my cases, and I literally will just buy the fucking 6B whatever class 4 rigs, especially if I'm running reserve, because they usually do the same kind of thing. They're able to make me survive 1 or 2 fights or some scav things, and then then I feel fine dropping it because I know I'll get it back in insurance. Or even if someone takes it, I'm not dropping a slick that I know someone's gonna pick up, right? Yeah. But the other side, what were you just saying? Because there was a piece of that.
The helmet thing.
The face shields. So to me, face shields are literally only ever useful against people who have no fucking idea what they're doing because they're brand new and all they have is a Makarov. And even then, you still have to get lucky that they don't tap you in your ear or whatever.
Yep.
Or like Taw's buckshot from a scav, or like 855 shots out of like a raider that has bad ammo or something. Otherwise, like mid-tier and up, it's just gonna go through, like fucking everything. So you're spending 250,000 rubles so that it's like bullshit insurance. It's like flood insurance. It's like, this isn't going to.
But take away the face shield. The two, like, I'm take away the face shield, and it's like, well, if you're only wearing a helmet for scavs, then buy the one you can get at level 1, the class 3 with the high ricochet chance. And if you're wearing helmets for PvP, then buy Maskas, the killer helmets. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm trying to ask a question: why do people not only run Maskas or only run Altons? Well, it's like, because there's pros and cons, because I want to be able to hear, so I want to use this helmet, and it's better than the class 3 with the high ricochet chance because I can put like, you know what I mean? It's like, all I'm saying is that, like, you put a lot of thought and a lot of money into buying class 4 armor for your head, even though going into the raid, if you're going to PvP, they probably have and ammo that can pen class 4. So like
Yeah.
you kind of know that you're going in just hoping it saves you from like one shot. But then you set a class 4 armor and they're just like, oh my God, class 4 armor is garbage. Why would you ever run that? It's like you strap it to your head every raid and pay a lot more for that than I'd pay for my, like, so it's just like, I'm not saying don't run your airframes or whatever. It's just like, if you're only out there for the best, why don't you only ever run the Killa helmet or the Alton or whatever? You know what I mean? Or the Vulcan. Like, it's like,
it's because it's all about
audio's trash anyway.
it's all about value
Yeah.
at the end of the day, and value is subjective.
And people can't not imagine that on this earth, somebody else has a different view of value than they do.
Or they don't understand the difference between net and gross. Like the
Yeah.
idea of like, if something costs 10 times more and it increases your chance of living 20 times, that's different than if something costs 10 times more and increases your chance of living by 3%.
Yes. Yes.
Unless you have infinite money,
Yes.
the money matters, right? So the 100,000 I spend on a core run, or alternatively, the 8 slots or 6 slots that 12 slots, whatever that it takes up. Yeah, 12 slots that it takes up. People say it's bad value per slot. No, because that 100,000, I get it back so often and it's cheap to repair.
Yeah.
So you can't just dumb it down to value per slot.
Nope.
because that core run I'll get back 5 times.
Yep.
So technically it's a 20,000 ruble armor.
Yeah.
And in that case, you have to do the math differently.
And it repairs so well that if its original durability is 45, on the 5th repair, it'll be like 39 or 40. Like, you know what I mean? It repairs so well that it's even worth using when you get it back on the 2nd or 3rd time from insurance. You know what I mean?
And people see 39 and they're so used to all the armors that have 50, 60, 70, 80, 85 durability that they just think like, it's like when you find when you pick up a fucking Gazelle that's like 19 out of 19, and you're like, whoa, like that's just a meme at that point.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, this is fucking. I find myself like, I see a 39.3 out of 39.3 core, and I'm like, ooh, and I'm like, wait, that's like almost fucking new.
Yeah. Yep.
Like that is enough for me to kill a 2-man and then drop, get back, and then pick up all their stuff. And now I've just upgraded.
Yep.
Now I've won 4 kits because it's like, I didn't lose the one I came in with. I'm gonna get it back, and I just got both of their kits.
Yep. Yeah. So it's super interesting. It really, I don't know. I love making videos like that. I loved doing the research. I loved learning a lot about that video, but it really shows that like people just view armor wrong. You know what I mean? Just in like the purpose that it serves. They don't understand the mechanics of how they work. It's
how fucking arrogant are you, dude? You think you can just spend all this time doing research and trying to have some sort of analysis and weigh the subjective versus the objective, and then tell people that they don't understand something because they just heard it from Reddit? Wow, dude.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see how the community turns on you. No, you're still. See, the thing is that even when you're right and you're rolling your eyes, you're still not as shitty as I am. So never mind.
I just thank them for
They won't turn on
their
you.
help for the YouTube algorithm. It's so funny. I'm very upfront about the fact that my content is made for like new people to the game. It's guides, or it's like, yeah, if you're super, super bored. And I still get comments where it's like, I have 200 million rubles. I'm just going to wear my slick. And it's like,
what are you talking about,
I don't know why you just spent 22 minutes watching my video if you have 200 million rubles, but I appreciate the view and the comment, bro. Thanks for the help in the algo. Like,
dude, the comment that I got fucking yesterday, I don't know if you got a chance to see the numbers video or not.
Yeah, I did actually.
So my favorite comment that I got, and I got to scroll to find it. Fuck, I forget. But basically, it was like, this was the most boring fucking thing ever. Like, what the fuck? I just spent all this time watching this. I subscribed to you for the Tarkov content. You just wasted my time. It's like, at no point did I say anything about. I didn't advertise it as a Tarkov video.
No.
You sat through the whole video and didn't think at any point to maybe click through forward to see like,
yeah,
when's the. Like,
and it's not like that's the first time you've posted a non-Tarkov video. You've posted Valorant videos, you've posted music videos, you know what I mean? It's not like you have 700,000 videos and every single one was Tarkov and then this one wasn't. Like, dude,
who the fuck do you think you are posting a video without any reference to Tarkov that also wasn't? I'm like, you know what? This right here is the reason why I've responded. I did what I shouldn't do, which is like a snarky little tongue-in-cheek thing, but like, every shitty, fucking batshit, rude, asinine douchebag old man that's like, fucking millennials, they're so entitled, blah, I'm like, he probably ran into one of those fucking people right now. That's like, I just consumed this free content and I sat through every minute of it when I could have easily just double checked and I did no fucking work whatsoever and I didn't ask for any of this and oh my god, it's like, holy fuck. My only response is like, you goddamn millennials, you're all fucking. I'm like, oh shit, oh no, oh god.
I'm one of the old men now. Yeah,
fuck.
It's funny, but it's funny that people were talking about the video. I'm sad that the hot take was so off base, but you know, it's nice. I like it.
Yeah, well, don't worry. The people that agree with you and that learn and that find the value, and this is what I'm learning every day, slowly but surely, and it helps when people speak up. But typically, the reasonable, normal human beings, just think about all the times you've watched a video like Vsauce. I don't know how many videos I've seen where I've been like, fuck yeah, that was sick. Hit like, maybe shared it with a friend, and then walked away.
Yeah.
I didn't comment, and I never gave him a hug and thanked him for the video.
Yeah.
But that video was fantastic for me.
Yeah, added value to your life. Yeah.
And then there's all the other people that are like, here's everything wrong with what you've just done. And it's fucking like,
yep.
You just have to know that the people who understand it and digest it, they're the ones that don't fucking say anything and they have a smile on their face, and they're the ones that leave the likes and don't comment, or even sometimes don't even leave a like. I watch videos all the time I don't like.
Dude, I do the same thing.
That I love, but I don't like.
Yes. Being a YouTuber,
which I've been trying to do less of,
has changed how I engage with YouTube, bro. Like dude, I've been on YouTube since the day that junk came out. We all grew up on it. Like, I could probably count on one hand the amount of videos I pressed the thumbs up button before I started making YouTube content. And so you're totally right. Like, the people that like watch it and like get exactly what they want out of it and appreciate it, including myself, often just move on to the next thing. Yeah.
So it's hard. And this is a little bit of a meta kind of conversation, but maybe we can wrap up with this. Just the idea that like, so there's two challenges that we face. We want to make good content and we want to be open to constructive criticism, and we want to, not everything we make is going to be perfect, and like we need feedback loop to have this constant evolving thing. But if the only feedback that we get, or the loudest, most noticeable, most effective feedback, is overwhelmingly negative, then all that they are doing is training us to either constantly focus on the negative, or and not take it seriously. Like, take everything or nothing, and then, or like, imagine the one time that I make a video where I'm completely wrong, and you know, I'm sure it's probably, I've done this, I can't say I've never done it before. I you know, there's nothing that I ever regret really making or anything like that, but I imagine there's going to be a day where it's going to be like, ooh, I regret that, you know, that was a mistake or whatever. The thing is that if I don't pay attention to any of the negative criticism, because you don't know if it's constructive or not. It's not easy to know.
It's not.
Sometimes it's just toxic, but sometimes it's valid criticism that's constructive, and sometimes it's potentially valid that isn't constructive. They might be wrong and trying to correct you. But if you just say, I'm going to make stuff and then I'm never going to pay attention to any of my critics, well, then the one time you fuck up, you're going to assume that everybody criticizing you, I'm just going to ignore them all. I can't be fucking wrong. So then you just end up in your own echo chamber. So there's a real, and this is something that, like, when it comes to streams and YouTube that I fucking struggle with. It's really hard. It's really hard to find the balance between being honest and open.
Yep.
And open to criticism and discussion while not leaving yourself open to just bullshit negative trolling.
Yep.
Because in my whole life, it's easy in life because
It's
in
so
every
much
job,
easier in real life.
in every job, people are serious and you look them in the eyes and you can tell. At my engineering job, you fucking probably don't work here and sit next to me if you're a schmuck, clueless, idiot troll.
Yep.
You aren't working next to me, or everybody in the room will all cringe when you say the stupid shit that you say.
Yep.
Where you can't hide behind an avatar in Twitch chat.
Yeah. Or
but constructive criticism, you hear and you go, yes, because you know that person respects you to some amount, you respect them.
Yep.
You know that what they're saying has some sort of value, and you can have an objective conversation like human beings. Like because the criticism is not coming from some obscure fucking rando. You know, it's from Joe, my colleague, who has a fucking PhD and who worked on the Mars rover. You know, like,
that's
okay, your feedback is valid.
That's everything. It's complete lack of context. Like somebody that comments on the video, like I'm sure that you've experienced this where some people comment on videos that are newer players to Tarkov that potentially even saw like your content that you made maybe 2 years ago when the game was different, and then say it to you, be like, did you actually know that this is this and this? And it's like, I'm the one that told you that, and it's changed now, and I'm trying to tell you that it's changed now. And it's a weird thing because so we have no context. We don't know if this is like a brand new Tarkov player. We don't know if this is somebody that's been in it for a while. We don't know. We don't have context
if
around.
They're just a shithead.
Yeah, we don't have context
trying to get under your
around
skin.
how long they played the game. We don't have context around them as a human being. We don't have context around everything. Just like you were saying, and that's the thing. Even in real life, there are people that are just dicks. But you can like it, like an engineer who you could just like, he was like really frank and forward and frustrating and like mean, but you look at him,
with a lot of people that were good enough.
Yeah. And you're like, you've been in the industry for like 50 years, bro. And you just don't have time to be nice. And as much as I'm mad that you were mean to me, I'm still walking away taking that criticism because I'm like, bro, you've been in here. Like, dude, there's so much context that we miss. It's just
one of the dudes that I worked with at my first job when I was a junior dev that I can say he's the one that like I hadn't even really known anything about open source software when I first started, and then I built my career largely on open source software because of this guy. He was such a fucking douchebag, just such a fucking like my buddy who's actually one of my mods that's here like once a year. We used to work together. And it was like a Christmas company event. And my buddy Brandon, they were always giving shit because he's the type of guy that people give him shit like he's humble bragging, but he's always talking just about his wife or his girlfriend because he just loves her and they hang out and he's like, yeah, day. But so this guy was always like, she doesn't exist. Like, you know, you talk about her so much that she doesn't. So then literally at the Christmas party, like that's a funny joke when you do to friends at work. At the Christmas party, he came in and she came in and was like, hi, you know, I'm whatever. And he was like, did he meet you on Craigslist? Like, how much is he paying you? Like, totally. He'd never met her before.
Oh,
she's just some shy girl. And he was basically like, you're a hooker. Like, you're an escort.
Yeah.
It's like,
but as part of the
that's
joke,
the kind of guy. That's the kind of guy that's like, you're such a fucking douchebag. But you're right, and I respect you for that. But at least everybody knows you're a fucking douchebag.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And we don't get any of that context. It's like, I imagine being brand new at a job, and all you want to do is get better, and all you have are just 69 420 gamer XD. That's all that provides you feedback. And sometimes 69 420 gamer XD is so genuinely trying to like help. And sometimes he's trying to do exactly what his name implies and just troll. And it's completely up to us to discern that, to learn what to take and what. Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like it's a weird. Yeah. It's hard. It's hard to want to get. Yeah, it's hard. Like because you want to get better. You always want to be accepting of criticism, but
I don't know. And some people are better at this and have different perspectives. And actually, I think we've talked about this before, so maybe you can explain it to me partially, but like the whole idea, somebody said earlier, just don't read the comments. Like just, it's the thing is that first of all, there's a lot of good stuff there that makes me like, if I scroll through, there are days where like it's overwhelmingly positive, and then there's one or two messages that fucking ruin my day, and then there are days where it's overwhelmingly positive and a couple messages where it's like, fuck them, I feel great, like this, it was worth it for me. But the whole reason why I make this content is because it's like it's the digital metaphorical, I'm walking up to a person and I'm giving them a gift and I'm saying, here, I think you'll enjoy this, and they'll go, thank you, holy shit, awesome, man. Like, that's the part where it's like I'm doing something for a human. Yeah. Imagine if you're like, I'm gonna take this thing and I'm gonna put the bag of money in the middle of the street. I'm not gonna set up a hidden camera. I'm just gonna run away. They are. No, I want to fucking see them, and I want to, like. But when somebody rolls up and they find the bag of money and they look and they're like, it's only $800,000. Come on. You're like, hey, fuck you, man. Give me that back. I'll fucking take it back. Somebody else can have it. Dude, it's
100%. Yeah. I get it, man. I get it. It's weird. I think like I always am back and forth with reading the comments. Like I've said before, I try to make sure I'm reading them like the day of and potentially the next day, because I find that those are the ones that tend to be, it's more overwhelmingly positive, where people are like, it's my viewers, the people that have notifications on, the people that see the video and they're like, yo, like this was sick. Or like, I've even like, I always try to respond to comments that I view as very valid criticism. Like, even if I disagree, even if like if I could totally see where they're coming from and they presented it in a good way, but if I disagree, I still always try to comment with like I tried to do it this way, but like, thank you so much for like just posting a normal human comment. You know what I mean? Like I always try to, but it's I don't know, it just feels like it gets worse and worse. So I don't know, man. I feel like the Twitch and YouTube combo, potentially to creators that take advantage of it, provides a way around that, because you trust my opinion on one of your videos more than 420 Gamer XD, because we have a like real relationship. You know what I mean? Like, and that doesn't mean that 420 Gamers doesn't bother you, and it doesn't mean that every one of my criticisms is correct, but it's a different experience. And so I think what happens is like I try to put people in my life that like I have a really good friend that's as passionate about like the numbers game and like the how do you hack YouTube, how do you get more views, like how do you get better. He's as passionate about that as I am, even though he doesn't do that for a living. So we can like talk and connect, and I can get feedback from that way. And then the other way is like I have the Twitch community that of people that I have some sort of relationship with, and we can talk where somebody can be like, yo, I think that's dumb. Like I still never run class 4 armor. I'm going to still disagree with them, but they're going to disarm me with the fact that I respect them more than 420 Gamer XD. Yeah. So we'll talk about it. And I can sometimes assimilate some feedback from that, or sometimes it's the positivity that you're talking about where people are like, yo, sick video. So I feel like that combo of being able to have a deeper community with some people on Twitch, but also the YouTube thing can sometimes work really well in my favor.
Dude, I've got on the video I just put out, it's got 13,000 views. There's 256 comments. Now I just scrolled through, there's like 7 comments that I didn't upvote and heart.
Really?
Like I'm just looking through. So like I maybe that makes me like neurotic and crazy that I literally read 250 something comments, and crazy. If they're, as long as they're not shitty, yeah, I'm usually like, you've got, because honestly, the rare occasion that I comment on a video, it happens a little bit more now that I have the check mark next to my name.
Yeah.
Which is funny because that always like totally, I comment on some other video and about like lock picking or whatever, and all of a sudden I get 8 million notifications being like, fancy seeing you here, what the fuck, but like every now and then when another YouTuber like hearts my comment, I'm like, oh, yeah, I get so excited. So I'm like, this, like, your vids are insanely good, blessed to be subbed. I heart and upvote that, But part of me is also worried. The fact that I just went through 250 messages, like, did I just diminish now the fact that I, like, some people are going to get the notification that I hearted their comment, which is like, first of all, oh my God, he read it. And second of all, like, oh, I'm glad he appreciated it. But then some people I'm sure would be like, no, I just fucking hearts everything.
Yeah.
You know, it's like people who follow for follow or, you know, retweet just because. It's like, but again, you can't like force people.
No.
You can't force people to believe or understand where, like, what your motives are.
Yes. Oh.
You just have to take my fucking word for it that I'm, you know.
Yep. Bro.
But you know, unfortunately, and some people, a lot of people do, and a lot of people say thank you and whatever.
For sure.
But yeah,
but it's hard because on the flip side, it's like
the shittiness.
Yeah, you want, because that's a very understandable thing. Like, you don't want people to feel like your heart is meaningless, like by me. You know what I mean? Because, and that was your Sam, and you hope that people on the other end understand the same thing. Where it's like, you know, there's a million different ways to say thank you for your video, and when a lot of people do that, it doesn't mean that means less to me. You know what I mean? It's just that, like, if 10 people thank me and one dude goes like, how do you even have a career making YouTube content? All you do is regurgitate stuff Veritas says. You use this app for all your stuff. Like, I can't believe, like, it's like, I hope you understand that I'm not trying to diminish your thank you by letting that get to me. It's just different. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to, because if you're not a content creator, the easy thing to say is like, well, 90% of the comments are good, just don't let. But it's just, if 9 of your friends, you know, don't try to threaten your life, that doesn't mean you should accept that 10th friend. You know what I mean? Like, you should get rid of that friend. So it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing to like talk about and like ride that line. But it's,
I find myself on the other side of it. It's similar to like how much I loved the few times I've ever been around, whether it was like Clean or Geeks to Stream or whatever, where like either they were watching a video and then I came in and then someone didn't realize I was there and they'll like say something shitty about me and then like they'll defend me. I'm like, that's the best. So because that's different than if like I stick up for myself. Like that's not the same thing. So if I'm ever like, I'll go through and when we'll have like one of the team podcasts and it'll be, you know, everybody on the team, and I'll be scrolling through and, you know, 50% of the comments are love the comment that Veritas had here, and then the other 50% are, God, this guy's such a fucking asshole, why is he here, I hate, he ruins everything, like take him off the team, replace him with insert person here. And then there's 17 reply, it's one of the most upvoted things, and then 17. So I'm like, I'm getting good at just being like, these people are shitheads. Fuck them. And scrolling by. But then when I see like, what the fuck was Slush Puppy talking about at 7 minutes or whatever, like, what a fucking idiot douchebag. And I'm like, hey, you fuck yourself. And I'll respond to that. It's actually much more therapeutic for me to jump in, because when you're defending yourself against a troll, sometimes you just look like you're a fucking like, meh. Yeah. But if you, it feels a lot better and justified and less shitty to be like, you're a fucking idiot, because even if I disagreed with them, you're a fucking douchebag. Yes. You know, even sometimes if someone disagrees with me and the person is a dickhead but takes my side, I'm like, fuck you, asshole. Like, you're not on my side. You're not on my team. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah. But then at the same time, you know, I mean, and Pest can't, because he puts out fucking 87 videos every day and he gets a million comments. But like, you look through my videos and see how many hearts and upvotes there are, and then like, you know, I'll scroll through, and unless it's like one of my comments or another content creator or whatever, like, you just don't see very many responses and hearts and stuff, because it's like a different dynamic.
It's
but
totally
then again,
understandable.
But then again, he also, you know, has probably better mental health than I do, you know, so
yeah, I don't know, man. It's like, I don't know. It's just, and it's going to be different for everybody. You know what I mean? People are going to take stuff different. Like you were even saying, like, you can have a day where you read some like horrendous things and you're like, bro, the video's doing really well. Like, I'm just as happy as a clam. Like, you're fine. And then one day you read something and it just, you know what I mean? It's so not scientific. It's so just raw emotion. Sometimes it gets to you, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes there's a bunch of dicks, sometimes there's only a few, and it's,
well, this didn't exist. I mean, there were different problems that existed 100 years ago or 200 years ago, but humans have been on Earth for 300,000 years, but the internet has only been around for a couple decades, to where so many people can communicate without the human personal interaction that changes the dynamic so much. So I think like we're fucking guinea pigs
for sure.
Like we're the first generation, and like our kids and the people who are a little bit older and a little bit younger were the first ones that like I don't even know what my like nieces and nephews, they're like 7 or 8, or even the people now who just grew up always with the internet and always with smartphones. Like at least I can remember a time before I had that, to where I think I developed a lot of who I was before the internet, to where I think I'd be really a lot more fucked,
dude,
if I probably have access. I'd have access to infinite more information if I had Google from age 5,
for sure.
But at the same time, I would be a completely different person because
100%.
The internet, it just,
we are
dude,
totally,
this is a weird petri dish, man.
We're the guinea pigs. Like the past few decades have all been their own. Like we're the guinea pigs, of like we're the crossover, like where we had friends, we were developed enough to like experience life without smartphones, without like the instant access. Of course the internet was around, but it wasn't, you know what I mean? And then the next, you know what I mean, the guys that are 10 years younger than us are the guinea pigs of the like complete from birth you had that access. And I completely agree that the internet is so young compared to the human race. And of course, exactly like you said, we can't say that like all our problems now they've never had. It's like, well, you know, the common cold, we're killing people left and right back then. It's like problems change, but that doesn't diminish the fact that this experience is unique to everyone on Earth right now, and it is very new, and we do not really know how it's going to freaking affect.
And the other part of it is that because it's so different, it's two different sides of the Black Mirror in between, to where the human trolls on one end, or even the human not trolls, expect the other human on the other end to act like a human, but they're not acting like a human.
Yes.
It's such a weird, like, one-sided, and it's not even necessarily bad, but it's the whole idea when someone shows up and like, oh, where'd all your viewers go? Like, you're not a troll, but you just did the digital equivalent of, wow, did you put on 80 pounds since high school, Beth? You know, like, they don't even know how fucking stupid and rude they are. So you can't even be mad.
Yeah.
But it's like, you just don't even know, because like, there's no real world equivalent that they can, you know, you don't show up to a birthday party and say, wow, there's only 2 people at your birthday party. Like they would know that that's fucking awkward.
Yeah.
You know?
Dead streamer. You only have 3 friends now. It's like, get out of here, dude. And it's so scary now because like, I'm just paranoid about it, bro. But I feel like I just feel like on the schoolyard, you would rough and tumble. It was like, hey, you're this. It's like, well, hey, you know, you stink. It's like, well, no, your dad. Well, your dad this. And there'd be this back and forth. I'm afraid now where it's like, you're a worthless piece of crap. You shouldn't be making content. And if I respond back something like to try and like get them or best them or do that, it's like they just go to 4chan and swat me. Like it feels like we just jump to the end so fast now that I'm so scared. Like even if I have a good zinger, I'm so freaking scared that I'm gonna get like doxxed or like swatted. Like people are we skip it all. We skip the whole human interaction and go to freaking insanity so fast.
Dude, I tried to do the whole like, I'm like, you know, if I was ever, imagine being a normal person, which I am, and someone was like, what would you be like if all of a sudden, like I always envision like Jennifer Lawrence. She's like a good example of someone who's like, she's just a fucking normal person that's like famous.
Yeah.
You wonder like how you would react, how you would respond. So like, if someone says something shitty, tongue-in-cheek, in real life, I'll say something shitty and tongue-in-cheek back to them real life, unless they look like the type of person that will fucking stab me. But the thing is that if someone says something on the internet and then I say something tongue-in-cheek back, they're like, you wouldn't fucking say that to me in real life. It's like, I also like couldn't tell that you were as big of a piece of shit as you clearly are now that you've just responded. But the way that like I thought that I was going to be the guy that responds to everybody all the time, and I talk to everybody and I'll treat you how I would treat a friend. And the thing is that all of my like snarky one-liner zingers where, someone's like, this is the worst fucking waste of my time. And I'm like, damn, like you're the reason why every grandmother hates millennials. that there gets a point where those things, it all depends how you view it.
Yeah.
If you view it as you fucking little insignificant peon, like you're fucking nothing to me, be gone with you, plebeian. And it's like, you just see the kid like, oh my God, my favorite content creator just struck me down.
Yeah.
Versus like Biff getting punched out by, fucking, those are two different ways of looking at the same thing. But on the internet, it's a different dynamic, and it's super fucking weird. And a lot of times, it completely backfires, and there's nothing you can do. And it's random. Sometimes the zinger, it all depends. If you have a zinger and 5 people instantly comment like, haha, got him, you're fine.
Yeah,
if his one buddy comments and downvote, and then all of a sudden more people start being like, yeah. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it tilted the other way. Like, oh shit, abandoned ship.
That is so true. If you get a few people that think your zinger is funny, everything the other guy says after that seems so small.
It's like, oh,
yeah.
The meme was.
Yes. But if his buddy defends him and then that starts, you look at your own comment and you're like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Like,
wow, this guy's such a piece of shit. He just fucking is rude to all of his people. And then all of a sudden all these people are like, hey, fuck you. Like all of his buddies are coming to defend the handicapped guy. It's like, no, I was the handicapped guy that got pushed down the stairs,
dude, that's
whatever.
So funny. That's so true. It depends on how the first few people that see it react to it. Ugh.
And that's how Veritas, as the worst human being on planet Earth, that's how he was born. Tried to be fucking clever with a smart ass.
And it tilted the wrong way.
get that coupled with being knowledgeable and being, a little too open to responding to trolls, and then also getting tilted because Tarkov is Tarkov, and have a couple of bad days, and you are now the worst human fucking being I can imagine.
Throw all that in and mix it up, let it cook for a little bit. Ugh. What a weird world, man.
But at least I got Jesse. Jesse's like, you know how when a gay guy has a beard, quote unquote, that's like when he has a woman he's with to like hide the fact that he's gay. Not that you shouldn't, because you should be fucking proud of who you are and who you love.
100%.
But as long as I have Jesse as my friend, like, you can't think I'm an asshole, because look at this guy. This guy's friends with me, so I can't be that bad because I've got the nicest fucking guy. So don't go down the same path and get snarky and then have people think that you're a jerk, because then you're my only hope. You're my only hope, yeah.
Oh man. Well, I like that we have this. I feel like so often these divulge into like therapy sessions where we can just like let it out, and whether it's Tarkov or content creation, like, I don't know, it feels good.
I needed this. I'll send you the check that I would have sent to my therapist. I'll forward to you. Everybody subscribe to Jesse because of the fucking 3090 that he just bought. Everybody, if you were gonna donate or subscribe to me, do it to Jesse, even if it's just for a month. Give him a chance.
No, don't
let him edit this out.
Don't reward my behavior of spending way too much money on a graphics card.
He did it for you.
I did it for you.
He did it for his son.
Dude, well, there's for my sons.
I'm looking for my son.
This was dope. This was a good one. Oh, it feels good. It feels good to be back.
Dude, I don't even care that they're like 2 fucking hours or whatever. Remember when we first started making podcasts? I was listening to a podcast about making podcasts, and they were like, you should not go longer than 15-minute episodes. I can't even scratch my balls in less than 15 minutes, dude.
We can't we can't talk about anything for 15 minutes, you and me, like, no way. I don't care, too. I love it, and people seem to dig it, bro. Like, there's the audience retention on YouTube is way higher than like any other videos, like, which we appreciate you guys that you guys like it. Like, it felt so good to me. I took 2 weeks off we had some family stuff and we had the kid, and it felt so good, the amount of people, especially when I came back to start streaming, people were like, yo, when is the podcast coming back? And I was like, oh, that's like, you guys don't know how much that means. That's so
You're always
sick.
afraid to come back and be like, I'm back, and there's nobody there.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. It's terrifying, dude. That was the longest break I'd taken ever. And people were like, dude, where's the podcast? So I was like, hell yeah. Like, so that that's been cool. It feels good to be back. For sure. So thank you guys so much for hanging with us. I mean, yeah, that's 2.5 hours. So we definitely need to wrap it up. I still want to hear more about the speedrunning stuff. I've been seeing you. I've been lurking a ton on the, I see the N64 back there.
I'm making moves. I'm, oh God, I forgot all about that. I was like equally excited to get back into Tarkov, but I think I'm going to play a little Tarkov and then get on to some more Ocarina of Time. God, it feels so good, dude. We'll talk about it next time.
Yeah, we'll talk about it next time. That's sick. But thanks for hanging with us, fam. We are back to doing this weekly. It'll normally be Thursday unless other stuff happens. Please go subscribe to the podcast channel. This video and last week's episode and the previous episode are all there. We need to boost that up. So YouTube, right now, I YouTubed the podcast and sorted by channel, and we weren't in the top like 100. So, but that's just because that's like a brand new, because like a million people have had this idea before. And we need to get some people subscribed. We need to get some views so we get a little bit of algorithmic weight. But
they're all like 9 years old too. We're the best and the newest and the most active.
They are 9 years old. They last posted video in 2017. So we just gotta get up there. So, but thank you guys seriously for hanging with us. We will be back next week. This will go live on the podcast channel and all the Spotify and podcasty channels on the audio early next week. We appreciate you guys being here, and we will definitely see y'all on the next one.
We love you. Peace.